This episode of the Busted Wide Open podcast is brought to you by Blueberry. Blueberry offers the best media hosting, accurate listening stats, and their all-new PowerPress Deluxe sites. A no-setup WordPress website for your podcast with all the necessary links to share your show with the world built right in. If you currently produce a podcast and are looking for a better host, or if you're looking to start a new one from scratch, head over to orbitaljigsaw.com/BWO and sign up for the best media hosting and a PowerPress Deluxe site to get your first month absolutely free. That's orbitaljigsaw.com/BWO, or just use the promo code BWO at checkout for your first month absolutely free. And now, enjoy the show.
This is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay, and you are listening to Busted Wide Open. Thank you.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome back to the Busted Wide Open podcast. But if this is your first time joining the show, I'd like to welcome you to the show that is as good, if not exceeds, WrestleMania. I'm Nick Howell.
And swiggity swooty, John Moxley is coming for that booty. I am Sir Ian Dangerous. And yes, this is a WrestleMania equivalent podcast.
That's what it is.
We've got Super Showdown coming up this Friday from an undisclosed international location. Oh, wait, no, it's Saudi Arabia. Oops, you wouldn't know it from watching WWE TV, though. We have that coming up this Friday. We're going to talk about that and the two main roster shows leading up to it. We had a huge week outside of that, though. We had a Takeover over in NXT this weekend that people are already calling one of the best NXT takeovers of all time. Again,
yep. I'll raise my hand and say that.
Yeah, we had John Moxley debut his first match outside of WWE, now no longer known as Dean Ambrose. Now he is John Moxley. He debuted over in New Japan.
Boy, did he.
Huge. Boy. Yeah, he came out the gate, didn't he? We'll talk about that later on in the show in our New Japan segment when we talk about the finals of the Best of Super Juniors, which I'll say it right now, has my match of the year so far.
What?
Yeah.
We definitely got to talk about that.
We go and talk. Plus, we've got listener questions, some great listener questions today. We've got pick'ems for the upcoming shows, Dominion and Super Showdown, and more. Before we get to all that, though, Nick, let's do some housekeeping.
Yes, well, guys, as you can see, we are live again on YouTube, and if you can't see, that means you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, so head over to youtube.com/c/bustedwideopen, subscribe, and be sure to hit that little notification bell so you get little email alerts and pings on your mobile device anytime we go live or upload new content. Definitely want to make sure you do that going forward. We're going to have lots of good stuff. Of course, the hub of our operation is over on Facebook. Just search for Busted Wide Open. Join the Busted Wide Open discussion group, and we will get you in there for some weekly live chats around all of the WWE shows, fun memes, great conversations, and a really positive, fun environment there for all wrestling fans. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at BWO Podcast. And if you love this show and want to show your support, head over to patreon.com/BWO. Sign up for one of those awesome reward tiers like getting access to show notes, the ability to ask listener questions that we answer live here on the air every single week, as well as bonus episodes, swag, all kinds of good stuff there. That's patreon.com/BWO.
Indeed, but you know what, Nick? We have a huge show. We got to get to it right now. Let's not waste any more time and get right to Monday Night Raw.
Well, as I admitted last week, I was a fan of the whole Beast in the Box thing, but we had some different things going down this week. And throughout the course of the week, whenever it happened, before we ever got to Raw, it was formally announced that Brock Lesnar would be cashing in, and it would be for the Universal title, and it removed all elements of surprise from the Money in the Bank, which is why it exists in the first place.
It doesn't necessarily have to be that way. That's just how they've written it in the past, is that they could cash in at any time. Dun, dun, dun. They've had people announce it before. It's usually lame when they do, and this was no exception, because I think everyone and their mother knew that Brock wasn't actually going to cash in on Monday Night Raw, and he didn't. It was just a way for them to pop their ratings, which we'll get into that in a second. Basically, what happened was Seth Rollins was out there on Miz TV, and Brock's music hit, but he never actually came out. And he almost went into the ring, but he didn't. He went off in the backstage area and just kind of hung out. So Seth was saying, look, I'm sick of this. Just cash in already. I'm sick of waiting. I'm sick of this pressure on my back.
Yep.
And later in the show, he went out to the ring to say exactly that. And while he was in the ring, Brock's music hit. He didn't come out. It hit again. He didn't come out. But Baron Corbin came out and got into a scuffle with Seth. Brock's music hit again, distracted Seth, eats an end of days from Baron Corbin. And then Brock came out, and I'll put it mildly here, beat the unholy hell out of Seth Rollins. The chairs, F5s onto chairs, just brutality. Seth gets taken away in an ambulance. Meanwhile, the entire time he's getting beaten up, Paul Heyman is screaming at Brock, cash in, cash in, cash in. And Brock's like, nah, I'm going to do it Friday. Okay. So, Nick, I would like you to explain to me the logic behind writing the show so that Brock Lesnar, A, doesn't know that he has a year to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase, B, doesn't seem interested in, wants to show up, but then doesn't cash it in, and you'd assume he's playing mind games, but then he comes down to the ring and murders Seth Rollins and doesn't cash in, but says he's going to do it now, not on the night he said he was, but on Friday at Super Showdown.
Right.
Where Seth already has a match against Baron Corbin. Could you explain the logic here to me?
Ratings, to get Brock Lesnar back on TV, because Vince is convinced that he is the only thing that draws on Monday Night Raw, apparently. So I don't know. Other than that, I really have no idea. I wish I did. I wish I had an answer.
Do you think this is like a streamlined story, something that's like being well told, that has some like logical connections here that you can make, or does it feel like they're writing this on the fly?
It feels like they're writing this on the fly. And listen, I kind of want to make a blanket statement here. I enjoyed this Raw from beginning to end. The commentary felt better. They were actually leading into matches and explaining some of the psychology around some of the things and the thought process and the writing. And I enjoyed this one for the first time in a pretty long time. What they did with the Money in the Bank contract, I just can't get over, because if it's not a surprise cash in, I don't like this approach. I'm a wrestling. I think it comes down to the fact that, as you and I agreed last year with Braun Strowman, this year with Brock Lesnar, you're giving it to two guys who could get a title shot regardless of the money. Like, they don't need the briefcase. They could get a title shot just by earning it, by beating someone up, or just being, big guys, both in stature and in presence in the company. They're not guys who need the briefcase to be elevated. So when they then don't use it as a surprise cash-in, and instead they use it as a way to say, well, I'm going to have my match when and wherever I want, like get a little bit of leverage on when I get my match, it does take away from that excitement factor. And it makes it more kind of like, oh, God. It's kind of what they're turning into, which is, would you just cash in already? Yeah.
We're sick of it. Like, it's not making us more excited for the cash-in. It's just to please get it over with.
Well, if I can play devil's advocate for a second, I do like the Seth Rollins sort of paranoia thing that is the element there. I do dig that to an extent, but it's being overdone.
Well, and also, is that really the kind of way you want to present Seth Rollins, as a guy who's just, I'm really nervous about when the Beast is going to get me. Like, I'm a fighting champ, but I can't fight anybody else because every time I do, I got the Beast looking over my shoulder. Yeah. I don't think it's the best way to sell him. But
I don't either.
At any rate, moving on, we had some other stuff on the show. You thought it was a good Raw. This Raw actually kind of hurt my soul a little bit. I couldn't connect to a lot of it. Now, there was good stuff, but there's a lot of stuff I just couldn't connect to. And there's some stuff.
Shit.
oh God,
it's never gonna go away. It's so good.
It's never gonna go away. It's gonna be eternal. It's seriously, it's the new "you're fired." Roman Reigns. He came out to the ring. He got smack talked to him by Shane, who then called out Drew McIntyre. They stared him down. Apparently, there was a match scheduled. This is the top of the show. We knew there was a match scheduled. It was Shane, McIntyre, and the Revival. Or was it McIntyre and the Revival with Shane Ring? Yeah, McIntyre Revival with the Shane ringside.
Right.
Versus the Usos and Roman. We knew there was going to be a match. That's just how they built into it. Shane and McIntyre smack talk to Roman. Roman gets jumped from behind by the Revival. Usos come out for the save. Then we have a match.
Right.
This is building up for Roman's match with Shane at Super Showdown. And as we found, his match with Drew McIntyre at Stomping Grounds, the next pay-per-view up in Tacoma, Washington. So this ended up being a fairly entertaining. I mean, you had the Usos and the Revival in the ring together, along with McIntyre and Reigns. That's a lot of talent. It was actually a fairly entertaining match, but you know, it's ended with Roman getting beaten down, took ate a Claymore kick and a Shatter Machine, left him laying. And Shane just, you know, gave him a pretty weak-looking spear afterwards and made fun of him, and that was the segment. So once again, we're in the position where Roman's the underdog. He's got to overcome these odds. We're back to this again. For all of the time that they spent with this, did this seem like another retread, or was there something exciting here for you?
Well, hey. You asked me the second question. I was about to say, hell no, I hated all that. But wait. I'll jump in early and say that the pre-show for Super Showdown this Friday is the Usos versus the Revival. That, my friend, I'm excited about. If we can get some storyline around it, if it reinvigorates the Raw Tag Division, the whole yet another top card superstar versus Shane. I just couldn't care less at this point.
Right.
I'm so done and over Shane at this point.
But incidentally, I got a couple stats here for you as far as the tag division is concerned. The current Raw Tag Team Champions, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, they won the titles back at WrestleMania, April 7th. They've had one defense on TV. They've had 7 at house shows, but they had one defense on TV. And that was the day after WrestleMania. So they have not defended on TV since April 8th. The SmackDown Tag Team Champions are Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. Rowan. They won the titles a month later on May 7th. They have defended it 0 times. They've had it for a month exactly as of today, as of tomorrow. 0 defenses, but they've had 5 on house shows.
Great.
The women's Tag Team Champions are the Iconics. They've been in a ton of matches. Singles matches. They've only defended the title once since WrestleMania, again, April 7th. They've had 14 defenses, including house shows. So 13 in house shows, 1 on TV. But that last defense, April 9th. Let that sink in.
So is this Vince being a bigot of tag team wrestling again?
Apparently.
Have we come full circle on that whole thing?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to throw it out there that tag team wrestling got absolutely buried at the end of WCW's reign, and that Bischoff was not a fan of tag team wrestling. I'm not going to throw that out there, although I just kind of did. Yeah. But I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Right.
But yes, Nick, the Usos and the Revival on the pre-show at Super Showdown. I'm sure it will be a baller match. It'll actually probably be a good match. It's just, again, they just didn't do anything.
Match. It might stand to be one of the better matches on the card, frankly.
That's, as far as from a technical standpoint, sure. But anyway, we also had on the show Charlotte, because, you know, Charlotte has to be on everything now. Wild card rule. Charlotte had a match with Lacey Evans. Becky Lynch came out to the ring, cut a promo about how she's going to kick anyone's ass who comes for her. Lacey Evans came out to say, I'm coming for you. And then Charlotte came out to interrupt this and got into it with Lacey Evans. They had a match while Becky just sat outside going, oh, well, have fun with your match there. I'll just sit out here and hold my belt. So what did you think about the fact that we can't seem to get away from blondes having matches in the ring, even ones that aren't on the show? This is going to be a theme, by the way, when we get to SmackDown. When we get to SmackDown.
Definitely when we get to SmackDown.
What did you think about that? Like, was this something that was engaging for you, having Charlotte and Lacey lock up?
Engaging, not so much. I wasn't sure whether it was a opportunity to have Becky just jump in at the end, and this was all built to highlight Becky and whatever her next opponent is going to be. But at the same time, it was kind of ugly by Lacey Evans. There was a lot of botchiness in there.
A bit of, yeah. some good intensity. I mean, there was stuff I liked in it. I thought that there was definitely moments where they were going hard at each other, and Lacey's very game. There's some of her moves that they have to let connect, though. They don't look good when she misses, and they look botchy when she misses. But my big issue with this, again, was you've got Lacey and Charlotte doing this while people are out there literally chanting, "We want Becky," in the audience. You know, like we're not like the whole thing. Oh, back in December, you guys are the authority. We're going to give you what you want. We're getting what Vince wants. He wants to see two statuesque blondes fighting in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, people want to see Becky getting into a storyline, actually getting into it. This was just her kind of being window dressing. Yeah. So, and it's not like she's the only woman on this card. They don't need to call up Charlotte from SmackDown for this. They've got tons of other women who are waiting for things to do. And we got another women's match on the show, but it was still, well, this is going to be an ongoing theme. We'll get into more of this later on in the show. I wanted to get to something else that was controversial this week, because we went back to an old WWE trope and had ourselves an old-fashioned arm wrestling match. Arm wrestling on WWE. Now, this is not a new thing. There's been lots of arm wrestling matches in the past. Mark Henry was having them all the time in, like, between, like the Jalapeno, like 2008 to 2013, like around there. Mark Henry was having them with everybody. He had them with, all the way from Rusev, Sheamus, Cena, he had one with him. Cesaro. I remember that there was the one match. It was Great Khali versus Triple H, and it was like a glass arm wrestling. So there's precedent for an arm wrestling match. And frankly, the two guys that they had doing this, which is Braun Strowman and Lashley, I thought was a good choice. Nick, after this, I liked this segment. This segment, I came around on it. It was actually very entertaining. It was something new, and both these guys came out of this looking pretty. Lashley came out of this looking fierce, like he could step to Braun Strowman, even though he lost the actual arm wrestling match. He still looked like he could hang in there with Braun Strowman. And the attack afterwards, where he threw chalk in Braun's eyes and attacked him, and by the way, gave him a power slam. That looked great. What did you think about this segment?
I thought this was a lot of fun. I'm not normally big on little spots like this, but it was different than just another episode of Miz TV or the KO show or whatever the hell it might be next. I actually enjoyed this. I liked the slap at the opening and then the throwing of the table. I liked the chalk in the eye.
Yes.
I liked all of the dramatic elements. You know, Bobby Lashley's eyes bulging out like he was Arnold Schwarzenegger that just got exposed to the atmosphere on Mars in Total Recall. Reference there for you guys. I got you. This was a fun spot. It was nice to break things up. I still don't know what to do with Bobby Lashley other than give him strength spots, which this was tailor-made for. Yeah.
And also, it was also showing off his kind of a-hole personality, like with how cocky he was about it, getting in Braun's face. Like, this is the Bobby Lashley I want to see. I went from being completely cold on this Lashley Strowman thing to, you know what? This got over with me. I thought this was entertaining. And it's funny because, and as much as I kind of wanted to hate on the concept, it got 5 million views on YouTube in a day. Wow. One day. You know, so take that for what it is. I mean, you know, obviously I'd be curious to know where these hits are coming from, because conversely, the next thing I wanted to talk about was Ricochet versus Cesaro. They've been trading matches back and forth for the last few weeks, having amazing matches every time, pure wrestling matches. This week, they had another fantastic wrestling match that was interrupted by, at one point, Cesaro went for a table. He pulled a table up from underneath the ring, and hilariously, R-Truth was just lying on the table like, oh, hey, what's up? Just under the ring, hiding his 24/7 belt, which was a great little spot. And then, of course, 24/7 insanity ensued, and they went running off, and then Ricochet beat Cesaro. 300,000 views on YouTube. 300,000.
Very telling.
You know, relative to the arm wrestling match, nobody watched that. So now, is this the fan base essentially proving Vince McMahon right? We've known this for a while, but it was confirmed in the Jon Moxley interview that Vince doesn't like just pure wrestling. He wants a story. Even if you're doing a wrestling match, there has to be a story. Work the leg, work the back, tease him about the time that he hit your dad, whatever it is. Is this another example where people, there wasn't really a story for Ricochet Cesaro, but it was a fantastic wrestling match, but nobody really watched it relative to a showcase to enormous guys arm wrestling. Like, is it proving Vince right?
That's that's an interesting introspective kind of question that we could talk about for a really long time. I don't think it's proving him right. I think it's just a little bit of a breakup from the typical monotony that we're used to dealing with in the thing. I mean, we have basically, if you think about this long term, we have basically seen more or less the same booking for at least the last 2 years, for as long as we've been doing this show. Give or take, a little bit of a plus or minus.
Longer than that, yes, but
at least as long as we've been doing this show. So I don't know. Is it good? Is it getting 5 million views? Do people like big strength things that get a lot of that has a viral sense to it to be passed around the internet? Yeah. There's also the concept that they probably promoted the shit out of this on social media, paid promotions, all kinds of stuff. So a lot of those views are probably coming in from there. They probably tweeted the shit out of it. That's going to draw a lot of hits and clicks. So I don't know, man. I don't know if it's proving anything right or if it's just, good social media at the end of the day.
Well, or it's just Vince is a good businessman. You know what I mean? He knows the business, and the business is he throw some spectacle out there every once in a while, and then they will come. And that's what he's doing. And unfortunately, a lot of the casual audience isn't in it for the wrestling either. They're in it for the spectacle.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a happy medium, I feel. That being said, speaking of things that were surprising, we had a couple of other things that were definitely out of left field and that I liked a lot because of that. Triple H and Randy Orton had a promo off, which on paper I was dreading. I'm like, oh, God. Triple H is going to pontificate for half an hour. Randy's going to be out there being Randy and making me feel gross inside. But instead, Triple H basically came out and said, there's nothing else to say. We've seen this all before. We know how this goes. I'm going to kick your ass in Jeddah. Okay, cool. And leaves. And Randy goes, hold on a second, Hunter. Before you go, I want to ask you something. Have you ever gotten your balls out of Stephanie's purse or something to that effect? And Triple H stops. And Randy just cracks up. Like, at this point, it feels like Randy went off script.
Yeah.
And essentially challenged Triple H to go off script back at him, which Triple H was very happy to do.
He crawled back in the ring
and went on a long monologue. All right. Let's do this. You want to talk about my testicles? Let's talk about my testicles. And so he did. He went on a nice little promo about how big his balls were, and then said that Randy Orton didn't have any. It was a lot funnier than I'm making it out to be. It was really fun because it felt genuine. It felt unscripted. It felt like a fun little moment that these two guys have known each other forever. Like Randy kind of got Triple H. I don't know if it was scripted or not. If it was scripted, these guys did a great job of making it feel off the cuff. But if it wasn't scripted, it just proves how much better off the script moments can be. Even though it's a little kayfabe breaking, but I don't care. It was fun. It was funny, and it injected a little bit of excitement into this show. It was one of the few lighter parts of the show for me.
Right.
So, also we had something else exciting: the Firefly Funhouse. The Firefly Funhouse this week, Nick. Oh, the Firefly Funhouse.
I can't remember the last time I nearly laughed myself into a coma as hard as I did this week when I saw puppet Vince McMahon with his puppet arms flailing in front of an LED board. And his devil horn. I had to actually pause the show because I had tears. I couldn't catch my breath, and I had tears running down my face.
If you haven't seen the bit,
that's the laugh out loud kind of funny stuff, like Team America or something along those lines.
This whole thing was hilarious, and it was also meta at the same time, which is why I think it's brilliant. You had Bray Wyatt doing Firefly Funhouse, and this week it was all about exercise, and he was in a tank top and a little sweatband, and he was there with what do you call the pig? Husker the pig. Husky, something like Husky Harris.
Yeah.
Right? Something that was reminiscent of his old debuting Huskus the pig. His debut gimmick, which was Husky Harris, which was Bad. And the pig was just gorging himself, and he was saying, "Oh no, you have to take care of yourself, otherwise you're going to get in trouble." And sure enough, Vince McMahon puppet pops his head through the door and says, "Get in shape, or your." And Bray cuts him off and says, "Don't worry, I'll get him in shape." And they go into a workout dance routine, 80s something that I can't properly describe because it was so insane. And it was amazing.
And I loved it.
It was more of it. Never, ever let Bray back in the ring again. Just have him do these bits in perpetuity. Seriously. Like, I'm scared now when he gets back in the ring because these things are so brilliant. I don't know how he's going to get this to continue once he's wrestling again.
Right.
This stuff is so brilliant. Like the meta way he's taking shots at himself, at the funny little ways of tweaking the company, with Vince in particular. It's fascinating, and we haven't really seen how that tied into the larger picture. The world he's creating here. But I don't care. He can, at this point, he's shown he can do so much with this world he's created, and it's a lot more malleable and a lot more fun than the Bray Wyatt character ever was. I mean, Bray was very straightforward. It was very cool. It was very sinister. But it was not this. This is fun and entertaining. So, man, big round of applause for Firefly Funhouse this week. Good
no
Lord.
Kidding. Yeah, that was probably the best one yet.
Absolutely
in my opinion.
Fantastic. My opinion too. I definitely they keep getting better and better, except for the 1 week where he was doing clips because he had a baby. Speaking of babies, Rey Mysterio's got a kid named Dominic, and we probably won't be seeing him for a while because Rey had to relinquish the U.S. title that he just won in a crap match where Samoa Joe had his shoulders up. And apparently Rey legit got injured in that match, separated his shoulder, so he had to relinquish the title back to Samoa Joe. And this was just a bit where Rey came out, started to relinquish it. Joe came out to gloat and took the belt and then beat Rey down. And that was that. Is this kind of disappointing looking back at what could have been back when this included Andrade and R-Truth, and it ended up coming down to Joe and Rey? And I don't know about you, it was kind of disappointing to me how this feud ended up. Is it tough to look at what could have been, or do we see this as a good jumping off point now for Joe because he looks even stronger?
I don't think Joe should have ever lost it in the first place, so I'm a little bit torn. But just going with the things that happened here, I liked this. I liked that he still put him in the coquina clutch, even though he had a shoulder strap on, which was probably fine. I think it's ironic that he goes out with his shoulder injury when Joe's the one that injured. He ends up giving the belt back to Joe, pinned him falsely when Joe's shoulder wasn't on the mat, and then Rey ends up ironically going out with a shoulder injury, only to give the belt right back to Joe. I don't think he ever should have lost it in the first place, but it is what it is now, and let's move forward. I'd love to see Joe reinstitute the Open Challenge. I'd love to see us get back to some of the things that we've had that we liked over the last few years. With the U.S. title, there hasn't been much. Rusev riding into WrestleMania with a tank was probably the last great thing around it.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Who?
Rusev.
Who? Husev?
Husev.
Husev? Husev?
Hashtag Husev.
I think I've heard of him.
Yeah. So I'd love to see. I want to see what's going to happen next. Get Rey out of the picture. I don't know. Let's throw. We can't do Andrade. I don't know. Wild card rule now, right? I mean, hell, anything could happen.
Could be anybody. The brands are pretty much one brand at this point. We'll get into that. I've got things to complain about with that over on SmackDown. We'll get to that in a second. In the meantime, let's talk about the fact that Lucha House Party has a match with Lars Sullivan this Friday. And the crowd goes wild. They basically just fended him off this week. They got into the ring together and they fended him off. That's pretty much all there was to that. It's kind of the laziest of all of the bookings for the matches that they have at Super Showdown, which is saying something. We also had a match. Nikki Cross had a match with Peyton Royce. This was I don't know. It was kind of a whole bunch of nothing. You had Alexa Bliss hanging out ringside drinking her coffee, which is apparently her new gimmick. She was wearing white pants, and so when she fell into the coffee, they got brown. Ooh. And then ultimately, Nikki beat Peyton Royce, and then she and Alexa celebrated backstage. So apparently this is a thing going forward. I wonder if Alexa is going to get into the tag team picture with Nikki. I would wonder that more if what happened on SmackDown hadn't happened.
Right.
I guess the other question is, are we still burying the Iconics in singles matches? And what happened to Asuka and Kairi and the team that shall not be named? That's kind of where I'm at with that.
Again, tag division. We have no idea. I think to answer your question about Alexa, we'll answer that on SmackDown. But with regards to the rest of the women's tag division, I don't know. Again, much like the Raw tag division, at least we've got Usos and Revival to be excited about. The women's one is, as much as I wanted the belts on the Iconics, they have not done them justice at all, frankly.
No, it's a complete mess. And something else that you could either look at as a potential mess in waiting, or it could be legendary, and that is the fact that to close out Raw, Undertaker showed up, had a nice long entrance, came out, and pretty quickly cut a promo on Goldberg saying, well, essentially, you're next, and you're going to rest in peace. All right. Honestly, the Taker promo kind of left me cold, but they definitely they picked up some slack. They picked up some slack on SmackDown. Anyway, you know where I'm going with this. I don't really want to talk about this Taker appearance until we talk about the Goldberg appearance. But to talk about that, we're going to have to talk about SmackDown Live.
All right, guys, hang tight. Ian, I'm going to call you right back, okay?
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy. Sorry about all the static, guys. We'll get it fixed up here in a second. Let's see if just resetting this gets it done.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Nope.
sir.
It's just as bad. Outstanding. Say something else, Ian.
Something else, Ian.
Wow. No, you're
And
really,
something else, Ian. And something else, Ian.
I'm scared it might be your internet, man. You're lagging. Even on the Skype call, you're lagging way behind.
Okay. Well, have to push through today.
All right.
Are you recording the static on your end?
Yeah, it's not even recording your audio cleanly, or if at all. It's not even registering.
Okay. Well, I'm recording it over here, so we have that.
All right. Let me try one more thing real quick.
And then I'll call up my company and yell at them.
Oh, hang on one second. I will call you right back.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy. Yay, happy fun times. Happy fun times. Yeah, I'm hearing it all over the place now. It's got to be some kind of bad cable or something I've got, but Ian's lagging way behind. Who knows? This is the beauty of trying to do this over the internet, guys. But let's push through. Let's get through the show. Sorry about the static. Thanks
Let's
for hanging
push
in
through.
there,
We're going to do this anyway because that's how we do.
We're going to do it. This is live. And let me get something back up here real quick. All right. Let's jump straight into...
Thanks for hanging with us, guys.
Yep. We're going to jump straight into SmackDown Live with this. Over on SmackDown Live, to juxtapose the appearance of Undertaker on Monday Night Raw, we had Goldberg. Goldberg closed out the show, but we're going to talk about that first over on SmackDown Live.
Yes. You actually texted me to say that when this happened. So, typical Oldberg entrance comes out of the room in the back, walks out to the arena, everyone chanting Goldberg, Goldberg, Goldberg. He comes out and cuts a promo on Undertaker. It's pretty straightforward. saying that Undertaker says he's gonna take me out. Well, I'm gonna take him out. But then the gong hit, bong, and the Undertaker was in the ring, and Goldberg laughs when he realizes Undertaker's behind him. He turns around, Undertaker's there, and they go nose to nose, and as they touch noses, sensually, the lights go out again, and when they come back up, Undertaker's gone. And Goldberg is left alone in the ring, and he says, Undertaker, bring your biggest jock strap and make sure that sucker's tight because I'm going to kick your ass in Saudi Arabia. All right. I have to admit, Nick, I got a little bit of the chills when Goldberg turned around, and it was Goldberg and Undertaker profile looking at each other. But aside from that, I have to admit, that was just kind of like, oh, God. Oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. You liked this, though?
I marked the hell out. The shot of Goldberg turning around and just laughing that, of course, Undertaker appeared right behind me. Of course he did. That made me
that was good.
Just kind of, oh, my goosebumps have goosebumps. You know? So eloquently stated by Corey Graves. No, this is one of those Legends matches, honestly. At the end of the day, this is just one of those Legends matches that we dare I say, have to endure, but we need to appreciate the legacy of at the same time.
Jeez.
So it's
is there any way this match is going to be a good match? Okay, could it be good, or is it just going to be a couple of entrances and then a bunch of like nostalgia spots?
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm nervous. This is just a cash in. They're getting a bunch of money for this match. That's it. I'm not really excited about it at all. I had that one moment of being like, oh, that's kind of cool. The kid in me is like, wow, never thought I'd see that. And then the rest of it, I'm just, meh. You know what was actually really touching to me, what really got me was the very top of the show where Kofi Kingston came out and said I'm just back from Ghana. I went to Ghana for the first time in 26 years, since I was a kid. And I returned as the WWE champion. And they showed, it was a pretty quick little video bit, but there's a lot bigger one online. But even the one that they showed on WWE TV was just absolutely amazing, heartwarming, and you really got the sense that like it meant so much to Kofi and so much to the people of Ghana. Obviously you can edit whatever you want into video packages, but there was emotions in this that you cannot fake. Just the people in Ghana being so proud of him and like so excited that he was there, and and it is a pretty damn big deal when you think about it in that context.
There's 30 million people in that country, and they looked like they were all in the video. They all showed up for Kofi Kingston coming over.
He talked to the king. The king was like, "Good job, my friend." Like that was awesome.
Yeah, no kidding.
It was so cool. I just wish that the segment afterwards had lived up to it, because then Dolph came out in the middle of this heartwarming bit to try and get his heat on, and say, I respect you, Kofi, but it should have been me.
Oh, no,
it
God.
should have been me. I like the way Dolph was presenting this like whiny character, but the problem with this is they didn't just let the two guys talk at each other. Instead, they literally had a video package off. They literally had Dolph go, it should have been me. Just watch. And he turns around and points to the video monitor. They play a package about like all the things he's done. And Kofi's like, oh yeah, well, check this out. And they play a package of all the things that Kofi's done. And then Dolph goes, well, remember this? And it shows him beating up Kofi. And it was like they had it all, it didn't make sense. And they called it on a commentary. These guys had all these packages like lined up just in case. But then also it's like classically, wrestling has been sold by the wrestlers and their personalities in their mouths. This is not that. These are two guys who are completely capable of doing that. There's a history between these guys, which they referenced. But that wasn't what they based this whole segment on. They based it on a bunch of video clips, Nick.
But is this a showing of a lack of confidence by the backstage crew or Vince or anyone in these two guys? Like Dolph's one of your best mic guys, and you relegate him to pointing at a screen for 2 video packages?
No,
come on, guys.
If you can't trust these guys, then just quit, because these are 2 of your best guys for this.
Yep.
So That I don't think it is. I think it's just the creative philosophy that they have, that they feel like they need to show in this. And typically in storytelling, show, don't tell. But in this situation, no, these guys are storytellers. Have them tell me why I should watch their match. Don't show me video packages. Don't show me recaps. Don't show me previously on SmackDown Live. I don't want that. That's not what wrestling. But still, like from a storytelling standpoint, that's not the best way to get this across. It really isn't, and it undercut this segment a bit.
Yeah, it did. And frankly, the Dolph thing's kind of starting to wear on me already. As much as I like the gimmick for him. It feels like a repeat of the thing from 2 years ago where he's coming out to the record scratch and no music at all. And, me. I want to show off back.
I know. Wrestling. At least, but you're right. At least they dropped the record scratch, which I think only was ever successful a handful of times as a concept. But, they've kept this whiny, entitled Dolph Ziggler character, which isn't fun, and it's a guy who is supremely talented and could do so much with something better. This is just in it. This is not what's going to get him over. He's doing his best with it, bless his heart, but this is not what's going to get him over, and it's not making anyone excited for this match. Unfortunately, and even though we had a match after this bit, went right into it with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn coming out and having a tag match against Kofi and Xavier Woods. And it was fine. It was a fine match. And ultimately, at the end of the match, Ziggler comes out and attacks Kofi and beats him down. Okay, happens again.
Great.
More heat for Super Showdown. But I think that's kind of my point is we got Kevin Owen and Sami Zayn's. Kevin Owen and Sami Zayn's. Sasha Banks, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn, who are essentially just here as placeholders and window dressing. And the Ziggler Kofi thing is that's what's really going on, but they're not. It's not being done in a way that's engaging, and it could have been. It could so easily be because of the history these guys have. Yeah. So it's a little sad. Kofi still looks good. Kofi's going to come out of this looking good because he's going to he'll probably win it at Super Showdown and come out looking strong. Like he took out another challenger, and he's standing up to guys. So Kofi's going to be fine because of this, but I do feel bad for everybody else.
Do you think there's any chance in all, quick sidebar, any chance at all that the whole Brock thing is a swerve where he comes after Kofi in the WWE Championship instead?
I would love that. I would not love that because I think Kofi should keep it for a long time. But I would love that in theory as a swerve. Because that would make more sense. It still doesn't. All the things that Brock has done still don't make sense.
Sure.
But it would make a little bit more sense where you're like, oh, he was playing mind games with Seth, but he really was psyching out Kofi. You know what I mean?
Making
like
him
that.
Not
actually,
think about him.
Sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. Fine. But that being said, that's a whole other can of beef. I just don't want to get into, because we have to get into a moment of bliss. Because Alexa Bliss was one of the wild cards, one of the many, many, many wild cards on SmackDown this week. So many of the 4 wild cards we had, 6 or 7.
Well, more than that once we got to something that happened a little bit later.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. All right, so moment of bliss with Bayley, which right off the bat should make anybody who's been watching WWE for the last few years cringe, because you remember the last time that Bayley and Alexa Bliss were together was a debacle, to put it mildly. And this was not much better. It was Alexa complaining about her coffee and Bayley looking like a goober waiting around for Alexa to do something, finally getting pissed off and slapping the coffee out of Alexa's hand, which was nice. We see a little bit more of a fierce Bayley. I dug that. But then the interruptions started. Carmella came out to interrupt the segment. And of course, because it seems to be her new thing, Charlotte came out to interrupt the segment.
Of course she did.
And Charlotte says, well, my good friend Shane, boo, heat, boo. My good friend Shane says there's now going to be a number 1 contendership match for Bayley's title, and it's going to be Carmella versus me versus Alexa Bliss because, hey, wild card rule, why not? So then we have this match.
Now, going into this, there was no way in hell I thought they were going to give this to Alexa Bliss. I want to state that.
Because she's a Raw superstar. We just saw her have a match where it looked like afterwards they were going to form a tag team with Nikki Cross, and all of a sudden Alexa's over on SmackDown having an interview segment.
That turns into a number one contendership.
It turned into a number one contendership, and then we've got Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville coming out to the ring, interfering, getting some physicality with Carmella, because apparently they have beef with Carmella. All right. Because we didn't have all of our blondes out there at once. We had to get Mandy Rose out there somehow. So first we have Charlotte beat Southern Charlotte on Monday night. And then on Tuesday night, we have Charlotte in a match with Mini Charlotte and Hoochie Mama Charlotte, and being stared at outside the ring by Sexy Charlotte. And Charlotte doesn't win because Alexa sneaks up on Carmella and gives her a DDT after getting, messed with by Mandy and Sonya. Alexa Bliss, a Raw superstar, now has a title shot against Bayley on SmackDown because there's no other women waiting in the wings.
Right.
At all.
I'm going to quote DJ Butters from the chat. 3 women that have done nothing to earn a number one contenders match have a number one contenders match.
Ooh. Ooh, hot.
Ooh, you feel the shade flying over? I do.
Ooh, I'm so hot. I'm so hot about this. This makes me insane. Not only is this, does this make me crazy because, it's defies, like honestly, yes, wild card rule. We wanted it to be exciting where Raw superstars can come and snake a title from somewhere else. But it's everything wrong with the wild cards rule. Is you have people that are deserving, people that are interesting on this show, and instead of giving them something to do, you have someone from another brand that's obviously a chosen one, and they get to come in and have the big matches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay. I mean, yes, is Charlotte involved in the title picture anymore? No, but she was involved in the number one contenders match. She was on Raw. It's like Roman being in a match with Shane, not for a title. It's still like they're giving it so much time. It's still like getting so much time on the card. There's so many other women that should have time. Carmella, sure, give her a title match against Bayley. Remember Ember Moon? She's around there somewhere. Like
she's busy reading Homer or something.
Naomi, dye your hair blonde, girl. Naomi, go blonde, girl. It's the only way you're getting a title shot. I'm just saying this right now. Anyway, this. Oh, and number 2, Alexa Bliss and Bayley. Is it the only way I can get behind this? Is if this is their way of saying we're going to redeem Bayley for the last one. For Bayley, this is your life. For the kendo stick on a pole match, we're gonna have this feud to redeem Bayley from last time. If that's the philosophy, if that's a philosophy going on backstage, I might be able to get more behind it. Yeah. That's it. That's the only way.
Well, I don't know. I mean, who's after Alexa Bliss? I mean, because I don't see Bayley dropping this to Alexa Bliss. I'm hoping that beyond that.
You don't see that happening? I think there's a distinct possibility. No. Oh, man.
It's possible. But, I mean, how are you going to get at Charlotte in a match with another heel?
Oh.
That's kind of a jab at Charlotte. Anyway.
Who by the way, let's just to be clear, I don't like the fact that she's being used all over the place. You have other women, use them. But if you're going to use someone all over the place, Charlotte is amazing. She's fantastic. Just her presence, everything. Like she is head and shoulders above most of the other women there. So I get it. But you have a big roster. God damn it. Use him.
Yeah. No kidding.
Just throwing that out there. Speaking of Shane and Roman Reigns. So remember what we were saying, Nick, about the wild card rule?
Yeah. I was like, wait, we're going to see this again? Didn't we just see this on Monday Night Raw?
So, and it was pretty much the same exact thing. It was like the almost exact same thing. They even replayed the Monday Night Raw beatdown, and then they had almost the exact same thing happen again where Roman got beat down and Shane speared him and blah, blah, blah. And not only that, we had all the same guys, which is funny because you're supposed to have 4 superstars from the other brand. And yet, on this show, not only did we have Alexa Bliss, Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, what brand is he on? We don't know. Sami Zayn. We also had the Revival. Plus, later on, we had a match where there was a bunch of Raw superstars in a lumberjack match sitting at the side of the ring. None of it's explained. It's just, they're not counting. The fans aren't counting how many people. It's a rule, but it's not really a rule.
Right.
It just proves the wildcard rule is just a sad excuse for them to join the brands without actually joining the brands. And it's the kind of stuff that makes so this is something that I'm slight tangent, Nick.
Okay.
Go with me on a trip here. Go with me on a trip.
I've got one too. So let's go down this road.
Excellent. Yeah, because I don't want to talk about Shane and Roman again.
No,
Because you know why? I'm so bored with Roman Reigns. So I'm going to talk about something else instead, and that is this idea that WWE doesn't really give a shit what its fans think. And they obviously still have a lot of fans. They're still getting 2 million views a week on their primary shows. They're still the most popular wrestling company in the world. There's lots of people that still watch it and enjoy it. And you know what? More power to them, because they are putting out a product that is for some people. And as we always talk about in our Facebook discussion group, like what you like. It's cool. We're going to disagree, and discussing those disagreements are what make it a vibrant and interesting group. And that's what we want to foster here on this show is intelligent discussion about things we disagree on, not sniping and calling each other a-holes and all that.
No,
that's
it's
not
not sky cake. It's not sky cake.
It's not sky cake. You can like Roman Reigns. You cannot like Roman Reigns. It's cool. I can see both sides of it and totally get it. What they're doing to them bores me to tears, but that's a whole other thing. At the end of the day, WWE is going for certain people. There are fans of wrestling that are hardcore fans of wrestling that want to see good wrestling matches. They want to see technical stuff. They want to see stories that follow from A to B. And there are people that just want to sit back and just enjoy what's on their TV and like, oh, look, they're fighting again. And they're going to fight this weekend. And that's kind of, oh, that was a good move. You know what I mean? They don't, the investment, and it's fine, by the way. You don't have to, I mean, you and me, we're nerds, Nick. Like we throw a ton of investment into this.
Yes.
That's why we have a show.
Yes.
But it's okay not to as well. It's okay to have it be your release. You're just, I just want to sit back and not think. That's okay too. And that's kind of what I think WWE is counting on is like, okay, look, yes, it's a wild card rule. That way we can have the people that you want to see more on both shows. Don't think about it too hard. That's kind of where this is at. So I'm looking at it from that standpoint and going, you know what? If you're one of those fans that just wants to be entertained and see some cool spots and, hey, there's those guys from Raw. Oh, they're teaming up on Roman Reigns, those bastards. Cool. There you go. You're getting what you want. You know what I mean? And WWE is very good at it. And they're still doing some things that are very entertaining that will I think fill both metrics for the hardcores and for the casuals. Which, two terms that are very broad terms.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think, Nick? Do you agree with me on that? Like that this is stuff that obviously enough people enjoy that they're still watching it. And like people that are getting up in arms about this and saying, oh, WWE sucks and all this. Well, the show may not be for you then, and there's other alternatives that are out there that are coming because that's just not that's not what WWE cares about.
So I agree with you for the most part that they're gonna, Vince has always done his own thing. And it's been mostly rewarding throughout the last 30 years. It's been mostly rewarding for the company, for the stockholders, for us as fans.
Mostly. It's been insanely rewarding.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. The transformation into an entertainment company. Look, Vince is on record saying that his whole purpose was not to put on exhibition matches. It was to be a soap opera. There's a video
He wanted to make movies.
I posted it in the group the other day. He wanted to make movies. He wants to sell DVDs. Mm-hmm. Part of the big premise of the network was to have a library of content.
Yep.
There's all kinds of reasons out there, things that he wanted to do that were bigger priorities to him than putting on wrestling exhibitions. So to your point, that's what it's always been. And we've kind of known that. And we get upset because it's not what we want it to be.
It's not my wrestling. Right. Hashtag my wrestling.
Right.
That's where that came from, is you and I, and there's a lot of other people that feel the same way, want X, Y, Z. We want this kind of wrestling. Like you like your big hoss matches. Yep. I like my technical showcases. Fine. Some people just want to see a couple of guys getting in the ring and beating each other up, and that's it. Like what WWE has, like just simple matches. Roman Reigns, Shane McMahon. Roman Reigns overcomes the dastardly Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. All right, we had a lot of different matches at WrestleMania, and that was one that I thought got unfairly crapped on. I thought that was about as classic of a WWE match as you could possibly have.
Which
for
one are you
better or for
referring to?
worse. Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns at WrestleMania this year.
Sure.
That was about as formulaic and straightforward a WWE match as possible, executed perfectly. Perfectly. You had the heel get up on the face mounts a comeback, and wins 1, 2, 3. That was it. That was it. And it was crowd pleasing, and that was the point. So, if you don't like that kind of match and you're complaining about WWE, go watch something else, because that's what they're here to give you. That is their stock in trade. And they might give you some other stuff here and there to try and, spread their audience out, but that is their core. So, when I see that, I can say I'm bored by it, but I can also look at it and say, but that's what they're trying to do, and they're executing it.
Yeah.
So, and if they are, then they're entertaining some people out there, and they may not be listeners of the show. They may not be people who are in our Facebook discussion group. We may not hear those voices of those people, but it's obvious that they're out there because, yes, is there a rating slump? Yes. Are they still getting 2 million plus views? Raw was up 10% Raw was up 10% this week. So there are people out there who want to see this. So, yeah.
I got sold big hoss dudes beating the crap out of each other in the 80s and 90s, and hashtag my wrestling. I'd like to have that back. We do to an extent, but it's funny that the big guys are the ones that are either goons or enforcers, or the ones that are that all hold the titles right now are all little guys. I mean, I guess except for Samoa Joe, but
kind of what we asked for. We wanted all these baby faces to win, and here we go.
You're not entertained, damn it! I gave you all your face wins, damn it.
Pretty much. That's actually you're spot on there. But don't worry, we'll talk about your big hoss Lars Sullivan in a second, Nick.
Well, hang
on.
In the meantime, I get to have my take here.
Oh.
Because we were taking this aside, so I want to throw something else out there that's a complete curveball. I think this whole wild card thing might be leading to something. I have one of my crazy speculations here, guys. I think that this is all going to lead to October. We're going to have this wild card crossover thing that's going to basically unify the brands that will ultimately culminate in a draft where we draft people to the two different brands that are where they're going to split back off to go to Fox and USA. Am I crazy?
Why would they need to do that if they have a wild card rule?
Well,
I think the wild card rule was.
Hang on, my tinfoil hat's around here somewhere. Hang on.
Okay, it would be entertaining. There's a lot of things that would be entertaining that aren't going to happen.
Yeah,
Nick, I hate to break it to you.
I know.
I think that's what.
I know.
Oh my goodness! They already have. That's what the wild card rule is for, so they don't have to have a draft.
I think it's so they don't have to unify the brands officially, so that they can split things off.
Why do you need to have a draft if people are already able to go wherever you want them to, and you don't care about how many go?
It's just my gut. I can't control these things. You
need to stop eating those San Diego hamburgers then, because your gut is getting in your way. It's getting in your way.
Hodads, if you're in San Diego, go check it out. It's fantastic.
Oh, man. All right, well, moving on. We had R-Truth. Yeah, we got In-N-Out versus Five Guys. Really?
No.
Fat Burger, yo.
Fat Burger. That's the secret.
Fat Burger. Or Cassell's. 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 Shout out to JBC.
Pan, if you know about that.
Oh, get out of here with your hickory. No. All right. Total.
I'll talk
Wrong
burgers
podcast.
for an hour. Seriously.
Wrong podcast. R-Truth. R-Truth is your 27 champion. I can't even say that right. What is it? He's your hardcore champion. Whatever you want to call it. He's your 24/7 champ. He was running around trying to escape and found out that Shane, because he interrupted the Shane appreciation segment last week. This week, R-Truth was getting a straightforward match. But he didn't know the rules, and he got to the ring and realized it was against Elias, only it was a lumberjack match with superstars from both Raw and SmackDown. Hello, wild card rule.
Yeah, there were like 20 different Raw superstar undercard guys under there.
Oh, Bobby Roode was there, Mojo Rawley,
Excuse me,
B
that's
team.
Robert Roode, sir.
No, he's kind of becoming a goatee now. He's only Robert Roode to me when he's got the full mustache. I saw Jack Gallagher there for some. Cedric Alexander showed up from the rock he's hiding under. EC3 was there looking like he wanted to kill himself. Matt Hardy, Shelton Benjamin. Nick, we had an appearance by Shelton Benjamin. So it was nice to see those guys, even though it was kind of also really sad.
Yeah.
But this was a very quick match. Elias pinned R-Truth in like a minute, and then realized that once the match is over, you can get murdered by everyone who's a lumberjack, and they all did. They all jumped in the ring, even little Drake Maverick, and they tried to kill Elias. He snuck out of the ring. I mean, this was like Airplane or Caddyshack, like, you know, Elias sneaking out the side of the ring while there's a big scrum in the middle of the ring. And he and R-Truth kind of like meet each other on the corner of the ring, like, hey, what are you doing here? And they go scuffle underneath the ring. And next thing we know, the bell rings and the ref and R-Truth come out from under the ring, and somehow R-Truth had won the belt back under the ring.
Well, you could hear the ref slamming the mat or something underneath the ring.
They do a video of it on www. Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks. WWE.com. They do have footage of this happening under the ring. They have under the ring footage. Bottom line, another 24/7 kerfuffle. Was this okay? So we were really high on the 24/7 title when it first came out. Is this what you want to see from it? Like this kind of crazy shit, or is this? Could they be doing better?
No, of course they could be doing better, but I mean, I'm not mad at this. This is fun. This is bringing some entertainment back to my sports entertainment, and I'm okay with this. And I'll go ahead and say that, you know, they posted something earlier today, leading into Super Showdown tomorrow, where R-Truth was calling his family right outside of the airplane as they landed in the undisclosed location where Super Showdown is going to be.
Right.
And Jinder Mahal sneaks out of the plane with a ref, rolls him up. Jinder Mahal is your new 24/7 champion as of today.
They do know that he is Canadian Indian and not Saudi Arabian, right? Like he's not like him going into Saudi Arabia as the champ doesn't really mean a whole lot. They know that, right?
I don't know why that matters, but okay.
I'm just speculating. Okay, so but yeah, and I agree. This was a fun little bit of business, but you know, I don't know. The cartoony stuff's only going to last for so long. I agree with you though. I like the social media aspect of this, where like titles can change hands on Twitter. You know what I mean? I like that. That's still intriguing to me.
I want a smidge more ridiculousness out of it, though, if I'm being completely honest.
Agreed. Turn it up to 11. Agreed completely.
I need the pencil to pin the guy sleeping because he's laying on his chest.
I
need Ramblin' Rabbit to pin Mercy or something.
How amazing would that be if Bray won it and then Ramblin' Rabbit on his own hand pinned him? That's what I'm talking about, like crazy crap like that. I agree with you completely.
Because the national anthem started playing, and he had to put his hand on his heart, and there was a ref there that counted 1, 2, 3. Shit like that. Come on, guys. You can do this stuff.
So a couple more things before we're out of SmackDown Live. Andrade stood tall this week. Andrade Cien Almas. He had a match with Apollo Crews, but he beat him up before the match even started. Kicked the crap out of him. Poor Cedric.
Was due back in catering shortly. He didn't have much time.
Yeah, he didn't finish that bagel earlier. Who am I kidding? That man hasn't seen a carb since I was a kid. But speaking of no carbs, Finn Balor ran out to make the save. He did not make the save. He ate a hammerlock DDT for his troubles. Andrade stood tall going into Super Showdown. Not surprising, seeing as he's facing not Man Finn, but Demon Finn. So make him look hot going in. Aleister Black had another promo. These are starting to get a little sad. He's back there in his room, whatever room that is, with he's got the one red light on the side of his head, waiting for people to challenge him. He's like, "Why aren't you challenging me?
Nobody's coming to get me." When he starts smiling and it gets silly, I kind of checked out this week. I just went, "Oh no,
this is getting dumb.
Yeah,
this is getting dumb, dude." Like, he's just waiting. I'm Aleister Black. I'm waiting for you to come pick a fight with me. And the fact that you're not makes me lonely and angry because I'm angry. I drink my coffee black. I smoke my cigarettes unfiltered. I'm Aleister Black. I'm a madman. I shop at Hot Topic. Come and get me.
Do you not like my lip piercing?
Like you not my lip piercing and my scary tattoos? Yeah, no, get him in a goddamn match. Get him fighting somebody. Just stop doing these segments. It's like the Mojo Rawley mirror ones. At a certain point, they became uncomfortable, and you weren't intending on pushing him anyway.
Right.
So, Jesus, find something for him to do. And finally,
oh boy,
Lars Sullivan. Sweet singing Nightingale, Lars Sullivan. He cut his first promo. He cut his first promo before EC3 was allowed to cut his first promo. Would you like to, he's your boy, would you like to describe Lars Sullivan's promo for the kids at home?
I'm not sure if this is what anybody expected him to say, myself included. I expected rah beast, rah freak. I wouldn't have been surprised if he had given Kayla Braxton a freak accident. That would have been fun if she was up for taking the bump, or just do something that makes it. I remember a part of his time in NXT where he was made out to be this monster, but on the microphone he was this like hyper intellectual.
Yes,
man.
They still push him as that on the main roster. The commentary still says he's very intelligent. His tongue is 4 sizes too big, so he lisps like a mofo. But yes, he's very intelligent.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. No.
So it was basically Lars Sullivan saying, do you ask the nightingale why it sings the sweet, sweet song that it sings? Do you ask the lion why it tears apart the animals that it destroys? Then why do you ask me why I do the things that I do? What music they make. I don't know how Lars Sullivan became Bela Lugosi. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is that then he asked Kayla Braxton why, like what they call him. He's like, they've been calling me this all my life. All my life. It's okay. Go ahead and say it. I've been hearing it my entire life. And she's like, you're a freak? And he goes,
Ladies and gentlemen, Surrey and Dangerous has gone full Bela Lugosi at this point. I'm not sure we can continue the show.
If you want to continue and we'll just skip this Lars Sullivan part, I'm totally okay with that. This was just painful.
Dracula voice the entire time.
He wasn't doing a Transylvanian accent, but he did have a big thing. Anyway, the bottom line is that this was an absolutely goofy promo from Lars Sullivan. They were trying to make him sound literate and verbose. But it just came off as weird, man.
Damien Sandow pulled it off to an extent that not Lars.
Lars. You can't give him the same promos.
No.
Like, they tried to do this with Rowan too. Remember? No, he's a super intelligent big guy. That fell flat in its face too.
Nobody cares. Beat somebody up.
Nobody cares. We don't care. Exactly. Beat somebody up. Flip a truck. Kill someone.
Yes.
That's what you're there for. You're big. Even in NXT, they knew to keep his promos to a minimum. They told us he was intelligent. He'd say like 2 sentences, sounded pretty smart, and then he'd go off and murder somebody.
Yeah.
That was his game. The other interesting thing here that I want to point out before we move on, because we have a ton of stuff left to get to, is that this promo was kind of about how words hurt. You call me a freak and it hurts, but I've chosen to embrace it, and I destroy people now. And that's funny coming off of this controversy that he had where he was using terminology and words to hurt people. So I thought that was interesting. There are a lot of people that are coming to his defense now saying that he's a changed man. Obviously, everyone's going to choose whether or not they want to forgive him or not, and that's completely up to the individual. At this point, I'm only looking at this from a how are they dealing with him standpoint. Stop giving him promos like this. Just Get
this
time
probably did not go over well backstage. I doubt we'll ever see or hear this again. I'm
really. I think Vince probably loved this.
And out of the other side of my mouth, I'm going to say Vince probably thought that was really good.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Do that again at the house shows this week. Yeah, do that. Man.
Great job, kid. You nailed it.
Yeah, nailed it.
Great job. Oh,
I'm a genius.
Good shit.
I wrote that myself.
I thought it was brilliantly written. Brilliant, great shit. Well, speaking of great shit, Nick, we've got to move on from SmackDown Live because we have a ton more show to get to, and a lot of it's great. But before we get to the great stuff, we've got to give our pick'ems for Super Showdown.
All right, Ian. Well, it is what it is.
Let's tear through this. Ladies and gentlemen at home, real quick. Ladies and gentlemen at home, you're welcome. We're going to watch this so you don't have to, and we're going to give our recap show so that you can just know what happened.
Before we do the picks, though, I do want to announce we are going to have a watch party for the pre-show in the Facebook discussion group. Should you choose to join us, we'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. That's Friday. We will be having a live chat in the Facebook group for those that wish to join. I think 3 people have said they were going to come. It's 2 in the afternoon on a Friday. I promise you there's plenty of other things that a lot of us would rather be doing than supporting this arrangement with WWE, but we're going to do the hard work for you so that you don't have to. But Nick, we will be doing those things live.
I'm sorry, Nick. I have a confession.
Okay.
I'm not going to be there for the watch party. I have decided or the live chat. I unfortunately got an opportunity to go to the Star Wars land at Disneyland. So I will be giving my money to a different large evil corporation.
You've already given it to him. You already paid for the network. Congratulations.
Damn it! You got me again, Vince. No, but I will watch the show.
I'm a genius.
We will have our recap show up for you guys. Nick, let's run this down. Usos versus the Revival to kick this off. Who do you think's taking it home here?
I want to see the Revival win. I really do. I don't know if I can wish it into existence, but I think the Revival's. I'm going to pick the Revival because I want them to win, not because I think they are. Okay. I think it's time. But I like this feud, and I hope it goes on for a long time, external to the Shane bullshit that it surrounds right now.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this is going to be a good match. These are 2 great teams. It'll be nice to see the the Revival pick up the tag team championships from the Usos. Oh wait, neither of these teams are champions. I've got the Usos picking this one up. It's a pre-show match. The faces are going to go over to make the crowd happy. So I'm 100% on the Usos for this. Lars Sullivan versus the entire Lucha House Party. We've yet to hear if this is going to be under Lucha House Party rules, although I suspect it will be. Who do you have here, Lars or the little guys?
Watch a giant racist beat up 3 Mexicans in a foreign country that's known for its own latent racism. I hate this match. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about it. Lars Sullivan's going to win.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yep. Moving on. Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. Who do you think's taking this one?
God. So looking down the rest of the card, at a certain point, some of the heels have to win, and I think Lashley's going to win here.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Braun. I hate it. I think he needs it. I think Braun will be fine without it, as he's proven. I'm sorry, my friend, my doppelganger. I love you. I think Bobby Lashley's going to win this one.
He's like your final form. I don't know if he's your doppelganger.
Yeah.
He's got a little size on him. You guys share a beard.
His undercut's a little higher than mine, so
yeah.
I have to. I'll get there. I'm graduating. In case you guys haven't noticed, I'm going up higher and higher. I don't know if I'm going to go much higher, but
you are. But his bald spot is way bigger.
Yeah.
So you got him on that. Let's see, the 50. I've got Braun Strowman in this, by the way. There's no way that Lashley stood tall at the end of that show, and Braun's not going over in the place for the last time he was the Battle Royale winner. So, Braun Strowman. Speaking of the Battle Royale, 50-man Battle Royale. No women on this show. 50-man Battle Royale. Who do you have taking this one?
I have no idea. Let's go. Let's do something crazy like Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn will not be there, Nick. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
He's actually been not allowed to come to the show because the country won't allow him to show up because he's Syrian. So another feather in the cap of WWE for going to the show.
I may have done that one intentionally. So I was trying to goad a reaction out of you, but
you got me.
I honestly haven't even seen the roster of 50 that's going to be in this.
It's everybody.
It's literally everybody.
It's everybody.
Let's do something silly like Daniel Bryan. Oh, wait, he's not going either.
He's not going to be there either. Kevin Owens? Nope.
Kevin Owens. Nope, he's not going either.
Black? Oh, he won't be there.
I have
everybody else. Everybody else.
Adam Cole.
Man. Wow. Okay.
I have no idea.
Sure. I'm going to say AJ Styles if he's not injured. If he is injured, The Miz. So
okay.
I have to pick one, so I'm going to pick Styles.
Okay, I'll pick Miz. I'll go. I'll do your other one. Whatever.
You can't steal my brilliant pick.
Yeah.
My brilliant pick that I said was likely. If Styles is injured, then you're automatically going to win. Wow, I see. All right, putting you down for Miz.
I would have said Drew McIntyre if he's not already involved with Shane. You know what? Put me down for Drew McIntyre.
There you go. I think that that would be bold of them to give the heel a victory, but Lord knows Drew needs the rub.
Yeah.
But yes, if Miz wins, then yeah. I've got a bonus point here just for
Okay.
For giggles and shits. One NXT superstar. Pick one NXT superstar who will show up. Guaranteed to show up. Gargano's you're saying.
Yeah.
Gargano. Okay. I will say Adam Cole.
Okay.
So yeah, the two big daddies. Yeah.
I mean, put a Keith Lee in there, and we'll have some fun.
Well, I would love that but they'll probably remember last time there was Baba Humba Humba, whatever the heck his name is. They called up some randos. Tucker Knight was there. Some randos. Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon. Who's taking this one?
Roman Reigns.
Of course. Yeah. I'm not even going to spend any time talking about this. Roman Reigns is winning. Period. End of statement. Triple H versus Randy Orton. However, this one is hard. This one is hard.
This is hard because this is not a Triple H burial yet, I don't think. It's not him putting down Batista in that sense. I could see Randy Orton winning this.
Same.
And I think I'm going to go with Randy Orton.
Okay. I think
he's the underhanded one in a sense. He's the legend killer. We know Triple H is kind of, I don't want to say coming to his end, but not far from it. But yet
I think Triple H needs to build himself back up. Well, maybe not. He's beat Batista, but this is really hard for me to pick because I could see reasons for them both to go over. Randy Orton because he's still fairly active on the roster, and it would give him make him look dangerous. And Triple H because it's Triple H, and he wants to get his back, and he wants to be the guy who, out of the people in Evolution, he's the one who beat everyone last. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that too. Flair, Batista. Yeah, I could see.
Get the trifecta.
Fuck, I don't know. I'll stay with Randy Orton if you're going to pick Triple H.
Yeah, let's do it just for the sake of interest.
We'll
but I think Triple H. Yeah. Demon Balor versus Andrade Cien Almas.
Demon.
Demon. No question
Andrade.
there. If they have Andrade beat the Demon in the desert, I will do something drastic. Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler for the WWE title. Who do you have here?
If Dolph wins this, it will be the most surprising thing of the year for me.
It'll be a travesty.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins versus, speaking of travesties, Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin for the title, for the Universal title.
With or without Brock Lesnar looming.
Without Brock interference. Yeah. This may not even happen. Who knows? This may turn. I mean, Brock's not on the card, and the Saudis paid for Brock.
Oh, of course.
So this may turn into a Brock match real quick. This may be like back-to-back Baron Corbin, Brock Lesnar. So, do you think Seth? How about this? Do you think Seth comes out the Universal Champion, or does Brock win it back?
I'm playing alternatives in my head. I could see a situation. I could see it two ways. One, Seth wins, but not until getting beaten down by Baron, only to have the Beast come in and take it.
I'm not making this. Does Seth win or lose against Corbin? I'm saying, does Seth walk out of Jeddah still the champion?
So we're making. It's not about who wins this match. We're saying
it's about what happens
for this
to the title.
one. Okay.
Yeah, it's too many possibilities.
I think Seth walks out of there with the Universal title.
Okay. Do you think Seth retains?
Yes.
Okay.
Including the Beast if he cashes in.
Let me look down at everything else. I think I've got you beat on a few other ones of these, so I'm going to take a flyer here. And I'm going to say that Seth loses the title. I'm saying that he loses the title.
But you're not going to pick a person? So I was saying...
No, Brock comes out the champ.
Okay, so that's your pick. Okay, so I say Seth walks out with the title. You say Brock walks out with the title. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, because Vince hates us all.
Yeah.
And finally, Undertaker versus Goldberg. Who do you think has this one?
I think Goldberg.
Really?
I think Goldberg beats the Undertaker.
Wow. Okay. Very interesting. I have Taker all the way. All the way. This is another Monday Night Wars thing. Taker's going to beat Goldberg. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Goldberg lays down for this one. Taker gets another little bit of life saying that he beat Goldberg. So, yeah, taking Taker all the way on this. Nick, we have a ton more wrestling to get to. Let's not waste any time. Let's head right over and talk about the wide world of wrestling.
Okay, now we can talk about some wrestling. Because in case you didn't watch last weekend, we had ourselves a wrestling show.
Oh, NXT Takeover 25.
Smokes, I will be the first
Saturday.
one to step up and say that Takeover 25 was the best one yet.
Wow. Oh, my
Yep.
goodness.
Hands down.
My goodness. I mean, over New Orleans.
Over New Orleans.
Wow.
Best one yet. And it was
Wow.
only 5 matches. Ian was
There
like,
was
do we need to
5.
do a recap for this? It was 5 matches.
I know. I was like, let's do a recap show. Nick's like, it was only 5 matches. I'm like, I could talk for an hour about these 5 matches, Nick.
Each.
I can easily talk for an hour. And here we are. Now we have 10 minutes to talk about these 5 matches.
It was a clinic.
You son of a bitch. It was a clinic. And also, some very interesting stuff happened when it comes to this show and you and me with this takeover, and we'll get to that.
Oh yeah.
So let's kick this right. Let's kick this right off. Roderick Strong. Stop doing your dance. I see you. Roderick Strong versus Matt Riddle. The takeovers are known for having a banger opening match. I can honestly say I have to go back and maybe look. Have you ever seen an opening match for this takeover besides like the Riddle KO of Cassius Ohno? Have you ever seen an opening match for takeover with 0 rest holds? This was just nonstop go.
Without going back and watching all of them, no, I can't think of one that was just this like shifted
Relentless.
into 6th gear and just slammed the gas.
It was
shit.
crazy. They went into 6th gear pretty quick and then found extra gears on top of it. This was insanity. This was so brutal, so hard hitting. And at a certain point, you didn't know who was the heel and who was the face because they both kept mounting comebacks you wanted to cheer for. It was the very thing that Vince McMahon would have hated, except for the fact that Matt Riddle was selling his back the entire time because, as you said in the live chat, Nick, prepare to have your backs hurt because Roderick Strong is the messiah of the backbreaker. And Lord knows it's a miracle that Matt Riddle still has a back after this match. Ironically, not the worst back going into the locker room at the end of the show. We'll talk about that in the next match. But this was just freaking brutality. And if y'all didn't know about Matt Riddle yet, now you know. Now you know. Matt Riddle, they both looked at him. I mean, here's the thing. Was Matt Riddle so good that Roderick Strong kind of got, like, I don't want to say buried. He wasn't buried, but you think he got, like...
oh, hell no, he wasn't buried.
Underrated?
He came out of this looking as
underrated.
badass as Riddle did.
Even though Riddle won.
Even because Riddle won, frankly. If Roderick Strong had just put Matt Riddle away, I would have been severely disappointed, and it would have greatly damaged Matt Riddle. But the match that these two guys put on, listen, look, 2 years ago, Roderick Strong, as much as I made fun of him, for those of you that have been around long enough, as much as I made fun of dude, he put on some banger matches.
Yes,
and he had the endurance and the stamina and constantly did those friggin' backbreakers to the knee to everybody. But he lost a lot. And he would always get these opportunities, and opportunity after opportunity at titles and chances and matches, but he would always come out looking great. Same exact thing here, man. That dude looks like a friggin' rock star after that match.
Yeah. It's funny because I had picked Roderick Strong to win this because I thought Matt Riddle was going to go, that their Undisputed Era was going to reign supreme on this night. And I was partially right, but not in this match. But look, I think I also said I'd be happy if either person won here because sure enough, like, you know, they both look like studs after this match.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, you know, you're always told, especially by like guys by Triple H, slow down, slow down, slow down. These guys did not slow down. Is this velocity of match? Should there be more of these, or is this the kind of thing that only guys like this can do?
I think it's
Well,
only
so
guys
rare.
like this that came up on the indies in a big way. You know, if you look at AJ Styles, it's endurance, it's stamina.
Yeah.
And being able to continually and to have the move set and the agility and, you know, the spontaneity to be able to continue to just put on these, just to hit all of these moves and to do all of these combinations of things. There are only a few guys that we know, and girls for that matter, that could put on this kind of match.
Yeah.
And these are two of them. And if you didn't know about Matt Riddle up to now, it's damn, dude. This is the one I've watched this match 3 times, by the way.
Oh man.
I downloaded it for the plane rides back and forth to San Diego,
Yeah.
and I've watched it.
Yeah.
25 minutes, whatever it was, awesome.
I was sweating, and I wasn't even in this match. Just watching them. Unbelievable. Matt Riddle's definitely a star. He's been gunning for Brock Lesnar for a while, which is an interesting concept because I believe that he fought at middleweight in the UFC. Welter and middle, somewhere around there. And Brock was full on heavy. Brock had dropped weight to be in heavy. So they're definitely mismatched, but I would love to see the two of them go at it big time.
By the way, Matt Riddle throwing some shade at Goldberg this week on Twitter as well.
Oh.
Goldberg apparently blocked Matt Riddle on Twitter.
I love Matt Riddle's Twitter game is hilarious, by the way. Moving on to the next match, tag team 4-way ladder match, Undisputed Era, specifically Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, the Forgotten Sons, the Street Profits, and Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch in another all-time classic NXT ladder match. And it is shocking that no one died, although Kyle O'Reilly nearly did several times. And he went into the back with literal holes in his back from this match.
He and what was it, Damian Fox from Lucha in the Hell of War match?
With pieces of meat hanging off their back.
Jesus Christ.
No, man, AR Fox took way more brutal damage in that thing. But then again, Kyle O'Reilly was not dealing with glass and barbed wire. So there's that. But there was a really nasty spot where he fell on the side of a ladder, and you could just see it like he was. It
was like the corner of the foot, like he caught his back or something. It just dug in. Oh.
Yeah, just took a piece out of him. And he did the rest of the match, and he kept taking huge moves. He's basically like, hey, Finn Balor, remember that Money in the Bank match where you got murdered on ladders over and over again?
Hold my beer.
Hold all of my beers. This was an amazing match. We can't really go play by play. We don't have enough time. Bottom line, it was just another match that just never really stopped. You even had Jackson Riker come out at one point and get beaten down by everybody, which was a lot of fun. I thought that they really did the dynamics of this match well. You had Undisputed Era kind of being the technical guys, Burch and Lorcan being just the hard hitters. You had the Forgotten Sons being the sneaky heels, and the Street Profits being the happy faces that would do a whole bunch of big moves to make the crowd pop. At the end, it looked like the Forgotten Sons were going to win, but at the last second, almost the exact same finish as the Money in the Bank ladder match, you had one of the Street Profits jump onto the ladder from the turnbuckle, climb up, grab the belts, and that was that. Very exciting finish. Street Profits go over. You called the Street Profits. I had called Undisputed Era, I believe. Oh, no, I called Forgotten Sons as a way to get back at you, because if they had one, I'd have made fun of you for not taking your boys.
You got the red cup.
And at a point, I thought the Forgotten Sons were actually going to win because, just so the heels win. But no, Street Profits went over, and the crowd went banana. Holy crap.
They went out into the crowd, celebrated. The entire NXT universe somehow procured a red Solo Cup for this event.
Man, it was really weird, Nick. I was watching the show, and when they won, a red Solo Cup mysteriously appeared in my right hand. I didn't know where it came from. It just was there.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah, they won. It was great. It was very exciting. Street Profits, are they deserving winners? I mean, like they've been kind of losers for a long time. They built them up over the last month. Are they legitimate? Do you think they built them up enough for this?
Yeah, and I think it was time to have a fun team again. I don't remember when was the last time we had a fun tag team. I'd have to go back to
Ascension.
Enzo
I kid. The Lucha Dragons. I don't know.
I think this is a good move for NXT. It gives a little bit of levity to things after we've had AOP and the breakup of DIY and then War Raider Machine Experience Vikings.
Who?
Exactly.
I haven't seen them in
Where'd
weeks.
they go? # Raw Tag Division. This is why I picked them, is because of how over they are, how that crowd reacted. I anticipated that, and that's otherwise, of course, I would have picked Forgotten Sons.
Yeah,
but I think after seeing them come out and challenge and interrupt them, the War Raiders relinquishing the titles to Regal, that was solely why I made that decision. So
yeah, and the way that they stood up to them and made it look like they were almost on the War Raiders level was great.
Yep.
And
that match following that was brilliant. So
yeah. And Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins holds up his level. He's been doing this he's been in the system for like 7 years or a long time. So it's a big moment for him. But Montez Ford is a future star. We all know that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And the way he jumped on the ladder at the end and celebrated, and he's the one that really is magnetizing everyone to this. So I'm fascinated to see where they go forward. But yeah, very happy with that as well. let's see. Next up, we had Velveteen Dream versus Tyler Breeze came back, by the way. Tyler Breeze came back to NXT, and he had a match with Velveteen Dream for who was the biggest, I don't know what you want to call him.
The biggest
prince? The prettiest, there you go. The prettiest prince and all the princes.
Tyler Breeze versus Velveteen Dream in a prettiest prince match.
I'm down. That's what this was.
Yeah.
That was the stipulation. Who is the prettiest prince of all? And we found out. Velveteen Dream, apparently. And I was worried because I thought Tyler Breeze was injured in this match. Like legit injured. He was bleeding from an ear.
Yeah, that blood is not supposed to come out of your ear.
It's not supposed to come out your ear. So it was the match was in a bit of a tough place on the card. I think if I watched this match just by itself, I'd like it a lot better because the pace was weird in the middle because I thought Tyler was injured, but the storytelling was there, the psychology was there. I liked at the end where after Dream beat Tyler, I asked him to pose, like to take a selfie with him, and Dream was like, "Yeah, I will, but I'm still the man," and was really arrogant and kind of reminded us that he's not necessarily a face. He's the Velveteen Dream. He's his own thing. So I like that. The real question here is, what's next for Tyler Breeze? What's he going to do after this?
Yeah. I don't know.
So,
are we going to see him again?
I hope so.
I don't know.
We both had Dream winning, so that was good for us.
Yep.
Shayna Baszler versus Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Championship was next. Another tough spot on the card for this match. And, it had everything we kind of expected. Some big Io Shirai moves. Shayna Baszler was brutal. And then, of course, Jessamine Duke, Marina Shafir run out, but they get intercepted by Candice LeRae, who beats the crap out of them with a kendo. But in all of the confusion, Io gets rolled up in the Kirifuda. It takes her a couple times to lock it on properly, but then Io Shirai taps out in the Kirifuda clutch. Interestingly enough, after the match, though, she grabs a kendo stick and beats Baszler to a literally bloody pulp.
Well, that ain't what I want to talk about.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about that moonsault with the steel chair.
Yep.
Hello.
Yep. She didn't just beat her up. She gave her a moonsault with a steel chair. Haven't seen that. That's like a ECW move. That was beautiful.
Ooh. I popped hard
loved
for that.
It. Yeah. But that was what was great about this. Io lost, but she then looked like an animal beating up Shayna after this match.
And then walks backstage going, "I'm not done with Shayna yet," and just breezes right past the interviewer. Love it.
Great. Good stuff.
Yep.
Good stuff. I think everyone in the live chat was saying no DQ match, and I'm so down with that. I would love to see
SummerSlam Takeover. Yep. Big time.
Shayna. If Shayna goes down, she goes down not in a wrestling match, but in a match where there's weapons. Like she can beat you in a wrestling match, but maybe she can't beat you when weapons are involved. I don't know. Awesome. We both picked Shayna to retain here as well. So you are now up 4-2 on me in the pick'ems going into the final match of the night. Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. My good God. We thought that they couldn't do it again after their best of 3 falls match. We were wrong. Holy crap, they did it again.
Yep. This is the other one that I've watched 3 times.
Mother of God. Was this now?
Well, let's talk about the number of false finishes we had in this match first of all. And I kind of want to. I think this is a poll I'm going to put up in the group because I hear complaints from both sides.
Yes.
Is there too many false finishes, or is it a good thing that adds to the drama of the finale of the match? I'm torn. I see an argument for both, but I will say that this was a perfect example of how to do the latter. How to just have so many false finishes on moves that are just going to knock somebody out. And then at 2.995, they throw a shoulder up.
Some brilliant kickouts in this one.
Oh, God, what a wrestling freaking clinic this Takeover was, especially all of these matches, man. Just, I cannot get over it. This match by itself, this is absolutely, I think I said about the last one, it was a match of the year contender before we even had the match. And this one might have beaten it.
Yeah.
This one easily beat that 2 out of 3 falls match, in my opinion.
Yeah. If guys, if you're listening to the show and you weren't in the live chat, if you were in the live chat, you know what I'm talking about. But the live chat lost its damn mind in the last 10 minutes of this match. Like we were all just sitting there screaming at each other, like, "Oh my God, this is insane! This is
completely checked out of the live chat because I couldn't find my jaw on the floor, and I was trying to pick it up. I just
those of us still able to type. All we could type was, "Oh my God!" It was fantastic. It was very exciting being live in the moment on it. And, looking at it and saying, like, were there too many finishers? Were people kicking out of too many finishers? You know what? Yeah, if I was sitting back and not invested in the match from a technical standpoint, I get the point. But if I'm invested in the match and I'm just excited to see these guys go, if I'm letting it go, if I'm doing what I was just criticizing about the WWE main roster and just like letting myself be invested in the match, I didn't even care. I was just so excited by what was happening. I wasn't sitting there going, "Hey, he kicked out of a move. No one should be. You can't kick out of a Canadian Destroyer." Fuck it, man. It was awesome. It was so exciting.
That Panama Sunrise on the outside, off the apron. Good Lord.
Panama Sunrise, Canadian Destroyer, whatever. Adam.
Same thing, whatever.
Exactly. So, but here's the thing. You and I both picked Adam Cole to win, and he did win. But that means, Nick, that you, with Takeover 25, have won your first pay-per-view pick'ems in over a year. Nick has finally broken the streak. He's broken the spell since WrestleMania 2018. Nick has not won a pay-per-view. He finally won one. But
take that, Nia.
No, Nia stays up. There's nothing about you taking on the. Put that Nia Shrine back up
next week.
Put that Nia Shrine back up. I don't know. Now, I don't know if this means I have to put a Jackson Riker behind me here.
No. We'll come up with some stipulation for the patrons to figure that out. That's up to them.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
That's up to them.
I don't know. It's Nia Jackson Riker.
When Jackson Riker appears at WrestleMania 2020 to win the Universal Championship, you'll have to put a Jackson Riker shrine up.
So what are your thoughts on Damian Priest real quick before we move on because we're running behind here? Damian Priest, we had a promo for him, the former Punishment Martinez.
I'm very excited.
I'm very excited too.
I'm very excited. It looks fantastic. I love this kind of dark, the almost vampire emo kind of aesthetic that's going on. I dig it. I'm all in.
Hey, they lost Aleister Black. They got to do something.
Exactly. Right.
Moving on to the NXT from this week, the post-Takeover show. Like most of them, it's mostly recaps of Takeover, so we can breeze through this. We had a couple of matches, Kona Reeves versus Keith Lee, which was fun. Kona, I think, has found his stride as kind of a jobber to the stars, if you will. Keith Lee looked good, looked like a monster. He had that one move where he just held on to Kona, wouldn't let him go, just kept beating him up. We also had Mia Yim versus Bianca Belair. I think it was the rubber match, right? This is the third of three.
The third one, yeah.
And Mia Yim picked up the win.
Two in a row, right?
Fascinating. Bianca Belair falling down the card a bit. And Mia Yim getting... It's interesting because I think Bianca has more of a long-term future than Mia does, but maybe that's why they're pulling the trigger on Mia now.
Yeah. Get her up there, get her ready to go. I wouldn't be surprised if, Io takes the belt off of Baszler at SummerSlam, and Mia's probably the next... one of the next contenders. Put her up there.
Absolutely.
We need to reset things in NXT a little bit after they've gutted it, frankly, over the last year.
They've gutted it. Yeah, and they're saying they might take Adam Cole now. I'm like, no, they're already dead. No, don't do it. They're not dead. They still have tons of talent, but just stop. You're already not using the people that you're taking.
Yeah, he's like 5'3", too. He's not going to go anywhere on the main roster.
No, God, no. They'll kill him. And a couple more things on this week's episode. Street Profits celebrate Io Shirai, as you said, so she's not done with Shayna. So we'll probably see more of that. No idea who the next people the Street Profits are defending against. I suspect Forgotten Sons. They seem to be in the mix a lot, and they're big heels. And they're like the only heels I can think of where people just genuinely hate them.
If we're going to follow this trend of bringing back, not so readily used main roster stars such as Tyler Breeze to NXT, can we get a return of AOP?
Yeah, bring them back to NXT and let them do something. I mean, they were injured for a while, or one of them was injured, so it's just they have nowhere to put them now because they don't have anything in the tag division.
I don't want to skip over.
Hashtag save the tag division.
I don't want to skip over Keith Lee. We talked about Kona Reeves and how he's turned a corner or whatever. That's fine. Bask in his glory. Oh, God, Keith Lee. How do I love thee?
He's great, but I just don't know if we have time to talk about him right now because we have so much more of the show.
Okay, yeah. Keith Lee's amazing. We love him.
We love Keith Lee in the show. Yeah. We're marks. All right. 205 Live this week. Drew Gulak looks like he's replacing Akira Tozawa as Tony Nese's next challenger. Akira Tozawa won the #1 contendership, but this week Drew Gulak beat the crap out of him. He's got kind of a new look, some black trunks, slicked his hair back a little bit. Is that a better option? Is Drew Gulak going for Tony Nese a better option, given A, their history, and B, the fact that Gulak's never been the champ? And I don't know about you, Nick, but I don't think there's anyone more worthy of taking on Tony Nese and beating him than Drew Gulak.
I think it's
what do
his
you
time.
think about that?
I think it's time for Drew Gulak. We've speculated that he would be the one to take it off Buddy Murphy previously. We've speculated maybe Cedric Alexander when he had it before Buddy. Gulak's put in the work, man. He's put in the time over the last few years. I don't know. I think it's his time. I think he should be the next one, not Tozawa again. God almighty. We love Tozawa. I have a lot of fun watching him wrestle. I want to be clear about that. But at the same time, Gulak, man, is just he's one that I could see being successful up on the main roster. 205 Live is technically considered, it's a main roster show, whatever.
Sort of.
But Gulak, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely Gulak. I would like to see that happen. And Lord knows he's been doing a lot of work for WWE around, so I think he's probably earned it. So that'd be nice. But Nick, it's time to move on and talk about one of the other biggest things in the week, and that's New Japan. New Japan had its Best of Super Juniors finals, and if you're looking for a show to get into New Japan, this was a good one to do it because you had a lot of undercard matches that really set up the stories here, and some top of the card matches that were not only awesome matches, but they had some people that you could recognize, and you had stories you can get into.
Boy, did you!
So I'm not sure really what to get to first here, whether we talk about the winner of the Best of Super Juniors or if we talk about the debut of the former Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley. I'm actually going to switch my notes here and go with Moxley first because that's how it was on the card.
Okay.
Jon Moxley debuted and very, very off the bat different from Dean Ambrose. Couple little mannerisms, but you can expect that. He's now wearing kind of like MMA trunks and knee pads instead of his jeans and a tank top. And he had a match against the North American champion, the U.S. champion, Juice Robinson, the former C.J. Parker from NXT, who came out and had shaved off his dreadlocks, which was a big shock. No, that's a serious decision to make.
Yeah, it is. That's a commitment.
To take. Wow, that's very shocking right off the bat. It showed he was serious. Unfortunately, what he didn't know was that Moxley was more serious than him because Jon Moxley, after however many years, 8 years of WWE, he's back doing his own thing. And within 30 seconds of this match beginning, he was chewing on Juice Robinson's eyebrow until it bled. So we know now what Dean Ambrose had up his sleeve the entire time. He wanted to go out there and he wanted some blood, and he got it.
It was not getting immunization shots in a doctor's office.
Holy crap. Yeah. Right off the bat, Juice got color, and then he just started trying to hard way open him up with his fist. Juice ended up at the end with just like the left side of his forehead was just a big swollen mess. Blood and just bruising. I'm sure he's got an enormous lump there today because Jean just targeted it and beat the crap out of him, put him through tables. There's a couple of eye on the table moments in this match. And it was moments where Dean was like, he's going through that table. I don't give a crap if these Japanese tables don't break. He's going through the damn table. And he put him through the table, and it was even more brutal because of it. He beat the tar out of poor Juice Robinson and ended up pinning him.
Is there
and in
any
his first
way?
match, in his first match, after leaving WWE, Jon Moxley's a champion in New Japan. He's your new U.S. champion. Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
I have two things to say here. One, is there any way that Moxley does not get into and do really well in the G1 later this year?
Yeah.
I mean, it feels blatantly obvious. Two, I really want to understand the dynamic of the relationship between AEW and New Japan now. Because we know Kenny can kind of go back and forth. That's been established. And now with Moxley...
Jericho has a title shot this Sunday.
Jericho has a title shot. Moxley's the U.S. champion. Kenny can go back and forth.
Yeah. So they're obviously friendly.
Are we seeing...
I mean, obviously, like, there's some friendliness there. There's some willingness to work together. And AEW hasn't started yet. So maybe this is something where they're building each other up. I don't know. I mean, this is definitely it's a good look for New Japan to have Jon Moxley go over there because you get a lot of American eyes on there. And it was one of the most bought or watched pay-per-views that Japan has put on in a long time because of that. He's absolutely elevated them. So it's good business for them. And if he's in the G1, first of all, I am going to faint. And you won't see me for those 3 weeks because I'll just be watching every match of the G1. I'm already probably going to be doing that, but even more so. Oh, my God. That's going to be amazing if he's in the G1.
I'll have to switch my schedule around completely so that I work third shift or so that I can stay up and watch it all night.
But no, it's very bold to put a title on him this quickly.
Yeah.
And it's obviously they want to get American eyes on their product, and I think it's a smart move, frankly. I think it's crazy, but I love it.
I love the bold statement that it makes.
Big time. Yeah. And then just one final thing about this match, and that is poor Juice Robinson, who has worked so hard to make himself a star and to make the U.S. title relevant, getting just murdered like this. I think, given looking at the post-match interviews, which I posted up on our Facebook discussion group, I love that Juice came out of this with in despair and with also a lot of fire. I think he's put himself in a great position to build himself back up to face Moxley. He put John Moxley over huge, both in this match and in the post-match promos. He put him over huge. So there's obviously, behind the scenes, these guys are friendly, and Juice is trying to elevate John so that when ultimately he gets the title back off of John, it will elevate the crap out of him. It's smart booking, and I love it.
Yeah.
Set this up for later. It's going to be the redemption, the resurrection of Juice Robinson. Mwah! I love it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Those two having a big feud for a long time over this, and if that's what it's setting up, I'm all in on it.
Or even, it's New Japan. You can have it simmer for months and months and months. That's what they do. So brilliant. You've also had the finals of the Best of Super Juniors, and what I consider my match of the year so far. This is the one I watched 3 times this week. Shingo Takagi versus Will Ospreay in just an absolute clinic. Just unbelievably good match. I thought it was as good, if not better, than anything on Takeover. It was unreal how good this match was.
So full disclosure, I have not seen this yet. As you guys know, I usually catch up on New Japan stuff on the weekends, but after we do the show. But this might be my most anticipated match of the year. I think we've been looking forward to this one since we started to see the Best of Super Juniors start to take shape.
Yeah.
With the point system, this is the one that we were really looking for. And with your, I don't consider what you have to say hyperbole in any extent because those two guys can put on a match. I'm very much looking forward to seeing this.
Unbelievably good. If you don't know about Shingo Takagi, you might have heard of Will Ospreay. You might have seen Will Ospreay. This is the best he's ever been. Yeah. I say that without hyperbole as well. This is the best he has ever been. He has just completely leveled out his game so that he's not just a spot monkey. And he can tell a story in the ring. And Takagi is fantastic as well. If you don't know about Takagi, this is a great way to be introduced to him. He's just a brutal, scary dude who puts on a great show. So
nice.
I've got a lot of notes here. We don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to move on. But just put it this way, go watch this damn match. It's that good. We got to talk about Dominion, Nick, because it's this weekend. That's one of their big shows in New Japan, and it's a hell of a card.
Looking forward to it.
Me too. Looking forward to watching it. As we just mentioned, Shingo Takagi, he will be there. He's facing off against one of the old guards, Satoshi Kojima. Is this going to be Kojima kind of reestablishing himself, or does Shingo get his revenge for losing the Best of Super Juniors and put down one of the old guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shingo gets it back from the Super Juniors. The legend puts him over. Absolutely.
Yep, that's exactly my thought about this too. We also found out that John Moxley is also going to be on the Dominion card. He's got a match too. John Moxley will be at Dominion. He's got a match against Shota Umino. If you don't know who that is, because you just kind of dabble in New Japan, he's a young lion. He's only been doing it for 2 years, but he's the son of Red Shoes Uno, the referee.
Oh.
Basically, John Moxley's going to kill a referee's kid.
Please let Red Shoes officiate that match.
Yeah, that'd be.
I think that'd
be
murder
smart.
his kid right in front
of him.
Oh my God, the drama!
Yeah, and I think this will be a way of putting Omino out on. He's going to go out on an excursion after this. They're basically going to kill him on TV, and he'll be gone for 2 or 3 years and come back. A changed man with a real gimmick and whatnot. But yeah, I don't think there's any way that Moxley's losing this one. I'm just going to move right on because I'm assuming you agree with me, Nick.
I agree with you. He's not dropping the U.S. Championship days after he got it.
To a young lion.
No,
he's
exactly.
not. Tag match, Jushin Thunder Liger and Yoshihashi versus Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr.
Now,
this is a tough one, man, because Jushin Thunder Liger is on his farewell tour for this entire year, but it's Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr., and his partner is Yoshihashi.
Has there ever been a more scary tag team in the history of professional wrestling than the pairing of Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr.?
I think it depends on what you define as scary, but they've got to be in the conversation for the most terrifying pair ever.
Like if you and I were to ever have a chance to be in a tag match for whatever reason, we'll run with this. The last people I would ever want to see across the ring for me is Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, absolutely. I will never talk bad about Suzuki-sama ever. I don't want him coming after me because I know he'll find out somehow.
By the way, we need to talk about on Twitter his game. He calls out Jericho and says he wants to face Jericho.
He also said he wants to face John Moxley.
Yeah. Chairs match. Chairs match.
Okay, we gotta move on. Who you got? Liger and Yoshihashi or Suzuki-gun?
Suzuki-gun.
Yep, same. I think there's a chance that Liger pulls it out by pinning Sabre, but
not with Yoshihashi there.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, we've seen this match a million times, but Evil and Sonata, Los Ingobernables versus the Guerrillas of Destruction for the tag belts. Who do you think's picking it up here?
Coin flip, honestly.
Guerrillas of Destiny, excuse me. Guerrillas of Destiny.
I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm gonna go. Los Ingobernables.
Okay.
Coin flip. Honestly.
Coin flip. Total coin flip. I'm going with Guerrillas of Destruction. Guerrillas of Destiny. God, what's wrong with me today? I'm thinking about Destruction in Kobe. I don't know. Will Ospreay, for winning the Best of Super Juniors, he gets a shot at the title, which is currently held by Dragon Lee, the junior heavyweight belt. You heard him at the top of our show, our good boy Will Ospreay, saying that he is the junior heavyweight champion of New Japan. He is not right now, but he was when we got that bumper. But I'm going to say it right now. He will be again come this Sunday. Will Ospreay will be the new junior heavyweight champion and defeat Dragon Lee. What say you, sir?
I agree. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, good. I'm glad we're on the same page there. Taichi versus Tomohiro Ishii for the Never Openweight Championship. Does the slimy little bastard Taichi, does good Lord Taichi, take one over the Stone Pitbull Ishii?
No.
No? You think Ishii's picking up the Openweight, huh?
I do think this is let's put a belt on Ishii.
Ooh. I really, really, really hope you're right. My gut tells me they're going to make Taichi retain just because he's a dick and he's just such a good heel. But I'm just going to be boring and go with you on Ishii because I really want my boy Ishii to win.
Yeah.
I love him.
That's more heart than head pick.
Absolutely. Any gold on Ishii always makes me happy.
Yes.
Match of the year, possibly Ibushi, Kota Ibushi versus Tetsuya Naito. They've already had a bunch of match of the year contender matches. Here we go again for the Intercontinental belt. Ibushi currently has it. Naito wants it. Who's taking it here, Nick?
Who cares? Just watch it. This is gonna be. You called Ospreay and Taguchi match of the year. I think these two might be putting on multiple matches of the year contenders.
Taguchi and Ospreay was a very good match, though.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
But yes, I agree. But pick one, Nick. You have to.
Ibushi.
Damn it! I agree again. I think Ibushi is retaining here. I think they're giving him kind of because he sacrificed a lot to stay with them.
Yeah.
So I think that the Golden Star is going to become even more golden, and pick it up here. And finally,
please let these two keep fighting for the rest of the year.
Yeah, fight forever. It's like seriously, we're so behind, Nick, but we got to do this anyway. Okada versus Jericho for the heavyweight belt. Are they going to be insane and put this belt on Jericho?
Considering they just put the U.S. one on Moxley and 1 week in, possibly. But I'm going to stick with Okada. I would not be surprised if they did something crazy and had Jericho win it, especially since we're now past the super reign of Okada. It's not as big of a deal, but it's any time that a Gaijin takes down Okada could be a big thing. So
the fact that there is a part of my brain that thinks they could be crazy enough to put it on Jericho is exciting enough. That's amazing. That's awesome. I love the fact that there is enough doubt sown in my brain now that, especially with the Moxley win over Juice, there's enough doubt sown that he could pick it up. He really could, and that would be absolutely insane.
So
and
1, 2, 3, 4,
we're
5 of the matches on this card are insane. At least.
There's a bunch of great. It's going to be a fantastic show. It's their SummerSlam essentially, and we agree on every match. I agree Okada's going to retain, but there is a part of me that thinks Jericho could pick it up.
I agree.
but we only disagreed on the coin flip match. So
the tag match.
There you go. Yeah. So coming up this Sunday, which I think is going to be late Saturday night our time, or really, really early Sunday morning.
Yeah, like 4 a.m. Eastern Sunday morning.
I don't care. I'm going to be there.
Doesn't matter. My alarm's getting set.
Yep. I'm doing it. I've got to do it. It's going to be a fantastic show. Can't wait for that. Nick, we have a lot of stuff still to get to, but that means we need to head over and talk about our listener questions. And I'm really excited for this because I think there's a couple of fantastic ones this week.
Yeah, you guys brought it this week with some really fantastic questions. And guys, if you want to get in on some of this action, you can head over to patreon.com/BWO. Sign up for just that $5 tier, and per month, every single week, you can get your questions in to be answered here live on the show. First up, we got Brian. Ian, how excited are you for the Undertaker-Goldberg match, and will you be taking a bathroom break during their entrances or the match? Your response, sir.
I don't think that I can take a crap for as long as their entrances will last. I don't think it's physically possible. If I do, my legs will fall asleep.
I don't know. There's a lot of memes to look at.
I might have to like go out and get my car washed. Maybe like cook my own dinner. Go have like a chess match with somebody. No, I to be honest, like it'll be it's always a bit of a thrill to see an Undertaker entrance, and Goldberg entrance is especially because they're going to have all kinds of the pyro.
Yeah, can you imagine the sparkler shoots that they're going to have for Goldberg? Jesus.
We're going to have an incredible Goldberg entrance, an incredible Undertaker entrance. It's going to be phenomenal. The match hopefully will be short, so it's not too painful. How excited am I for it? About a 1.78 on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most excited. Yeah, just don't care.
To answer your question, Brian, I'm probably going to go during the match because I'm really going to enjoy the entrances. To me, that's the spectacle, is the entrances of those two guys. Thank you for that. Next up, we got Chris. Why does Lars know what a Nightingale's song sounds like? Why did the Monster Among Men congratulate Miz on having a beautiful baby girl? Why does Aleister Black continue to put out an open challenge from his dark, hidden dressing room instead of the middle of the ring? And why do they continue to let the monsters talk to ruin all mystery around them? Lots of great...
Because Vince.
Yeah, all of that
because
is the
Vince.
same answer.
I mean, I'm assuming all these questions are rhetorical because it's like, that's just the answer. It's because Vince. Because Vince... You look at what they had with Braun Strowman at one point, what a monster he was, and how they just completely bungled it. You look at Lars Sullivan, how he was in NXT versus how he is in the main roster. But you look at their monsters that they've had in the past. People are already comparing Lars to like Ryback or Snitsky or anything like that.
I said a long time ago, he reminded me just as the trunks and the heftiness just reminded me of Bruno. So I've said that.
Well, Bruno. They actually knew how to sell Bruno. Yeah. But that's kind of what I'm saying is, Chris, you're not wrong. Yeah. It's don't know. They don't seem to know how to keep monsters. And that's really sad.
Yep.
Because they can when they want to.
Yep.
They just don't.
Yep. Thank you, Chris. Jacob, next up. Should NXT do more standalone takeovers or keep the format of doing them with main roster pay-per-views? Also, if Tyler Breeze is staying in the NXT, who should he feud with next?
NXT should absolutely keep doing standalone takeovers because every time we have a takeover on the weekend of a major WWE show, it makes that major WWE show look like crap by comparison. In fact, they should get the takeovers away from the main roster shows because it makes the main roster look terrible. And I know I've heard this from a lot of people. They watch the takeover on Saturday night and then they go, man, I really don't want to watch the main roster pay-per-view now. Yeah. Like they just ruined me for it. Have it after the main, have it on the Monday. I know they can't, but just speculating.
Or like every other month, do a main roster and then takeover the other month.
Just keep it away from the main roster pay-per-views, or have it in a position where it makes you feel better afterwards. I don't know. They should absolutely do a standalone. As far as Tyler Breeze, who should he feud with next? Someone he can beat, someone he can look strong against. Kona Reeves or something like that. Someone he can win the feud with.
He needs to kill some jobbers, and reestablish himself a little bit.
Yeah, someone from the Undisputed Era that he can beat. Like if you can build up Roderick Strong again, and then have Breeze beat him ultimately. Something like that, where Breeze can win the feud and get his prestige back a little bit. Yep. So he was never known as a winner in NXT when he was there the first time, but I think he needs a little bit of rehabilitation, and winning a feud would do that.
Totally. Thank you, Jacob. Next up, Will, do you have any practical or dream appearances for the 50-man Battle Royal Friday?
Tatanka.
Ooh, that's a good
I don't.
one.
No, it's not. It's not. Okay, good. Jesus, don't do that to me. Do I have any dream
Great
appearances?
Khali.
Great. Stop. No, Nick. No. Be serious.
I could see Hogan making a surprise appearance again, like he did the host thing for Mania. You know, just because Saudi Arabia and they've got a lot of oil money. I don't know. Do I have any? No. I'm mostly just kind of going with it out of guilty obligation, I guess.
I would love to see Velveteen Dream show up, although it would terrify me to have him anywhere near Vince McMahon.
Yep.
As far as like old school guys, there's not a lot that I can really think of that we haven't already seen. I mean, I'd love it if they gave Jake the Snake a nod and let him come out. He's been agitating to get back on the show recently online. I'd love to see him get an appearance out there. Just one more.
DDP made an appearance on Double or Nothing, carrying Randy Rhodes out. So.
DDP ain't gonna be there. No, DDP. Just like Billy Gunn ain't gonna be there.
Right.
Tommy Dreamer, he's not gonna be there.
Yeah.
Those guys are not gonna be there. Yeah, I don't know. Anyone you would like to see, Nick? Like surprise show ups. I got Jake the. I'll stick with Jake the Snake. Yeah, realistic. Like I got Jake the Snake. That's my call. I don't know if he will, but I would love to see that.
The Rock.
He said practical.
Place would lose its mind if The Rock showed up. You know.
He said practical.
Oh, okay.
There's no practical way.
I think there's a better chance of The Rock showing up than Jake the Snake. I'll put it that way. Will, thank you very much for the question. Moving on, Eric, does Mox's victory over Juice Robinson for the U.S. title open the door for AEW and New Japan working together in the future? Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Well, working together, I think, is stretching it a bit. I don't know if they're going to work together so much as have a friendly relationship. I think that's probably
until AEW TV starts,
Right, but even then, I think AEW having a foothold in the United States with TV. I mean, New Japan has been very open about getting its wrestlers on U.S. TV in the past, whether it's WCW or WWF back in the day. So they're not they know that that's a foothold. If you put your star on a weekly show in the United States, I mean they did it for a while with Impact before they realized that Impact back when it was TNA, before they realized that TNA was making their guys look like a joke. See when Okada was on.
Yeah.
But I think that the mentality still is, if we have our guys on an American TV show that's being watched by millions of people, it gets their name recognition. I think people would be more interested in going and watching New Japan's product if they knew more about Okada, Tanahashi, Jay White, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that it would be smart of them to form a at least friendly relationship with each other, and it looks like they already are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's beneficial to both companies to have a working relationship.
Yeah, totally. Thank you very much, Eric. Good question. Lauren, is up next. What is your take on the Jim Cornette, Sonny Kiss, Joey Ryan controversy? I personally don't think Jim Cornette was being, nor has he ever been, homophobic, but just critiquing AEW for not making it clear what a wrestler's gimmick is to a casual fan, which is an ongoing gripe of his. Curious to know what you guys make of it.
So
I saw a little bit of this, but do you know the backstory here?
I do. So Jim Cornette did a watch-along for Double or Nothing, and during the Battle Royale, Sonny Kiss was in the ring, and I don't have the exact phrase he used in front of me, but he said something along the lines of, he compared Sonny Kiss to a Tropicana drag show, and I think he called him a transvestite at one point. And the uproar really came because it hurt Sonny Kiss's feelings, and Joey Ryan immediately came to his defense, as did a lot of other people in AEW and in the indie scene. Really came after Cornette. Kenny Omega did too, calling him a homophobe and the rest of it. I like Lauren. I kind of see it through both sides. Like, what Cornette said was extremely insensitive and uneducated. Instead of finding out what this person wanted to be referred to as, he just made assumptions which historically have been hurtful, and in this particular case were hurtful.
Yeah.
So I think it was, Cornette's not known for being a nice guy. He's known for being an asshole. That's kind of his gimmick. That being said, these times are very sensitive about these kinds of things. You can't really be an asshole about that without getting absolutely pilloried, which is what happened. So I think that there was a bit of being hypersensitive and there was a bit of Cornette being an asshole. But at the same time, I understand kind of where both sides are coming from here. But at the end of the day, there's really no one who can say if it was appropriate or not but Sonny Kiss.
Yeah. Because
it's not for me to say what's offensive and what's not offensive to Sonny Kiss. And Sonny Kiss made it clear that it was offensive to him and he didn't appreciate it. And so that's really all we have to get. Like Cornette now, I think legit owes Kiss an apology. And perhaps because here's the thing, Cornette is a very liberal guy and he's very open about being supportive of LGBTQ rights and everything else. Like, he's gone on record as being very open-minded in that sense. This was just a moment where I think that he said something really stupid and insensitive because that's his thing. So, I think that best case scenario, he owes Sonny Kiss an apology.
Yeah. The only thing I'll disagree with here is that Jim Cornette is North Carolina Smoky Mountain Wrestling. All right. Cornette is not known for having a filter.
Exactly.
So you as long as you've been around Jim Cornette long enough to know it's not an excuse for the actions or his words, but I wasn't surprised by it.
No.
I guess I'll say.
I certainly wasn't surprised by it either.
So, if you've watched anything that Jim Cornette said for the last 30 years,
right,
you know exactly what you're going to get from him. And I kind of respect that about the dude, but at the same time, what he said was inappropriate. It was hurtful. And for someone that, as you said, has been out there on record in support of those sort of things, it's bad taste. It was bad form.
It was poor form on his part. I also think that people like Joey Ryan went overboard. Joey Ryan obviously he's got a personal gripe with Cornette as well because they have a long-standing feud going back for however many years because Cornette hates Joey Ryan to begin with.
Right.
So now they're just sniping at each other, and it's not making anything better. And it's frankly feeding into the kind of dialogue that's ruining a lot of our society these days. Is this kind of, instead of trying to find common ground and figure out a way to make everybody happy, they just want to take shots at each other. Right. So, yeah, it's very, very unhealthy all around.
Thank you very much, Lauren. Great question there. Lyle, next up. I've been wondering about some consistency with moves. A super kick from Dolph can put Kofi and Xavier down, and it's basically what Sweet Chin music is, but Adam Cole and Gargano trade them in the ring like punches. Is this something that the WWE should work on so that the product is consistent, or am I just being absurd with something that I noticed this week? Yeah.
May I, Nick?
Oh, boy.
May I?
I'll step away for a moment. You go for it.
All right, my William Regal's about to come out.
Regal!
So this is actually it's a fairly common thing where the kayfabe idea is that there are some people who have mastered certain moves, and that's why those moves are their finishing moves or their signature moves. They can do them with enough force or they're skilled enough at them that it's a devastating knockout move. They've gotten so good at it. So Shawn Michaels is the all-time master of the super kick. He can give you one super kick and you're out. Meanwhile, the Young Bucks can give you 10. They spam them because they're not that good at them, but they can give you a whole bunch of them and it'll work. The same thing with Adam Cole. His super kick is devastating, but it's a signature move. It's not his finishing move because he can't do it with enough force to finish you off, to knock you out, right? It's the reason that some people can punch you. That punishes their finishing move. Other people can give you like 100 punches. Doesn't work. So that's the idea here, is that some people have mastered this move to a degree that that's their finishing move. So it is kind of an understood thing, not only in WWE, but just everywhere pretty much. Like, even in Japan, some people can give you a cutter and it's lights out. Other people give you a cutter and it's like you pop right back up.
Or Tanahashi's crossbody,
No, absolutely. No, this is the high fly flow. Absolutely. Yeah. The Rainmaker. Okada gives you a lariat, you're toast. You're toast. But, other guys can give you a lariat and you're fine. You can kick out. No problem. That's all this is. The bonus is, the thing is just the super kicks are really easy to move to pull off. And it looks cool and it makes a slappy noise. So it is, I think that's kind of becoming the overused move these days. I'll agree with that. And it is watering it down. But I'd say the same thing happened to the DDT about 10, 20 years ago, where it went from being a move that Jake the Snake finished off everybody with. You got hit with that, lights out, 1, 2, 3. It was super protected. You're done. Now, DDT is a transitionary move. It's something like, unless you're Alexa Bliss, or you're getting a double arm DDT from Jon Moxley, which is now an elevated butterfly double arm DDT, which was awesome when he beat Juice with that. Yeah, it's not the kind of move that it used to be. So that's what that is.
Thank you. Or dare I say the leg drop from Hogan for the historians out there. Speaking of devastating moves, wink, wink.
That's not devastating for anybody else but
except
him.
his back.
Oh. Is he 6 inches shorter because of that now?
Yeah, well, he got it all straiidned out. Anyway, I digress. Thank you very much, Lyle. That's a really good kind of perspective question there. Last but certainly not least, I don't want to butcher your name, my dear, but Esme Stand-In Bear, Esmeralda, thank you very much for your patronage. If this was an alternate universe, I love this question, by the way, Ian. I just want to be. If this was an alternate universe, and both of us were somehow put in charge of saving the Raw Tag Team division, how would you book it and save it from the pits of despair where it currently resides?
Can I jump in real quick, Nick? Because I know that you could answer this question for literally 2 hours straight.
I think I kind of have, and I'm still working on it, and I know we're behind.
The fact that you're still working on it is the craziest part.
I'm up past Hell in a Cell at this point. So we're getting there.
God.
There's 2 hours of content already.
Esme Stand-In Bear. Nick has such a long answer for this. I have a short answer. How would I save the Raw Tag Team division? I'd put them on TV. I'd start there. I'd actually have tag matches. Yeah. That's where I'd start. Just give them something to do. Make them legit. Have them not look like goobers. Just put them on TV. Put them on TV.
Yeah, that's all it takes. That's all you have to do. Make us care about them.
Make us
again.
Care.
Make tag wrestling great again.
Hashtag save the tag teams. Yes. Nick, that was such a good question this week. Thank you to everyone who submitted. We really appreciate it. Again, head over to Patreon and join up to support the show and help us continue to do this and do the things that we love to do. If you want to get your questions in, and thank you for that. Nick, we're a little behind.
Yes.
I'm not surprised.
But we're not done yet. We've got just enough time to go through our other news lightning round. Beep, beep,
all right.
Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, man, I really needed more time for this. All right, really quickly, Bully Ray apparently got up in a fan's face at a show in Portland, Oregon. Apparently the fan was yelling at Bully Ray's real-life girlfriend, a couple of them. Apparently this fan was yelling at Velvet Sky and Mandy Leon, who were being heels, and apparently they yelled at him, spat at him, and sprayed perfume in his mouth. And he was saying some rude things to them, so security escorted the fan backstage where Bully Ray said, "Don't say nothing to these women you wouldn't say to your mom. Now go out there and be a fan." And the fan said that he was intimidated by Bully Ray, and he couldn't believe that he was being told at a wrestling show to not talk smack to the heels. This has created a bit of a controversy online, people saying that Bully Ray is the last person who should be telling a fan not to say egregious things to wrestlers, when everyone remembers the Heatwave incident back in ECW, among many other times that Bully Ray said things that you would not say to your mother. You probably wouldn't even say to the boys in the locker room. So created a bit of a controversy, but I don't have really time to get any more into it than that, other than there is a controversy now because Bully Ray apparently got in a fan's face and told him to calm down with the smack talk to the wrestlers. Let's see, in other news, Atsushi Aoki, who was a major Japanese wrestler, and actually at the time, I believe he was the junior heavyweight champion of AJPW. He died in a motorcycle accident this week, and lots of people are devastated. Very, very talented guy. He's been doing it for a long, long time. So, yeah, very tragic that Atsushi Aoki has passed away. Mickie James apparently tore her ACL at a live event in Texas over the weekend. She says she is out, quote, a long time. We don't know how long that's going to be, but ACL tear, 6 to 9 months probably, at the very least. Jinder Mahal, as you mentioned, became 24/7 champ early this week for like 5 seconds, but he just got it back at the Jeddah airport. So he is your champ right now going into the show in Saudi Arabia. We'll see what happens with that. Keep your eyes online because they seem to be doing a lot of things with the 24/7 championship online. The team of RVD, Rob Van Dam, Sabu, and Tommy Dreamer reunited. The ECW boys reunited at Impact Wrestling this week for a match. And they're old, Nick.
Yeah.
They're old.
You can kind of see that with Tommy in the Battle Royal at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, well, wait till you see Sabu and RVD, who abused their bodies a lot more than Tommy ever did.
Rob Van Dam followed the show on Twitter, by the way. Thanks, Rob.
RVD is a stud. RVD is one of my favorite guys of all time. And he, honestly, I think he probably looked the best out of all of them. But man, yeah, it was a wake-up call to how long ago ECW was. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Impact, guess who's back in Impact? TJ Perkins.
Oh, hi.
He's returned to Impact Wrestling. We don't know yet if he'll be back as Manic or not. Manic. But he is back with Impact now, following his buddy Rich Swann. Rich Swann, who has a match against Johnny Impact for the X Division title coming up at Slammiversary. So lots of things going on there over at Impact. Over at Ring of Honor, we had a match announced for Best in the World. Nick Aldis and Colt Cabana.
Boom, boom.
The current NWA World Heavyweight Champion and the NWA National Champion are set to face the Briscoes at Ring of Honor Best in the World. Also at that show, Dragon Lee versus Dalton Castle and Flip Gordon versus Rush. Right there, that's a pretty solid card.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just those
Flip
three
Gordon
matches
versus Rush should be exciting.
That should be very flippy and very rushy. Yes, lots of rushing and lots of flipping.
The Revival is going to hate that match.
Oh, yes, very much. Sami Zayn, I love this. So we mentioned earlier, Sami Zayn not allowed to go to Saudi Arabia because of racial issues. So he decided to launch a new campaign. He's did a couple of campaigns for Syrian medical relief. Well, he's launching a new campaign this Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, the exact same time that Super Showdown starts. That is some beautiful shade, Sammy. I love you for it. That's pretty wonderful.
For listeners that may not know, Sami Zayn, while Canadian, is of Syrian descent.
Thank you, Nick.
Fill in the blank.
There you go. Wrestling Observer News says Adam Cole is being eyed to be called up. I think I talked about that earlier in the show. But yeah, it's being reported that they want him up, and I'm saying that may be why they put the title on him at all. Is that you can't call up our champion. He's our champion. You can't call him up. Please God, don't call him up. We're doing stuff with Undisputed Era. They have a storyline. Don't kill this storyline too, please. And finally, speaking of NXT, we had some name changes. Trevor Lee, Jesse Elaban, you may remember from the Mae Young Classic. Eric Bugenhagen, he of the Air Guitar Heroics.
Burglar Hergelebogen?
Adrian Haoud and Luke Menzies all had their names changed. They're now listed as follows. Trevor Lee is now known as Cameron Grimes. Jesse Elaban is now Jesse Kamea. Eric Bugenhagen is now Rick. Now, I don't know. This last name could either be awesome or just weird. He's either going to be Rick Booges or he's going to be Rick Boogs.
Rick Boogers.
Rick Boogs, I could get behind because that sounds like it would fit with his whole. What's up? It's the Boogs, man.
Yeah, it's the Boogs.
Yeah, it's the Boogs. Howday is now Arturo Ruas, which is way easier to pronounce than his normal name. And Luke Menzies is now the most wrestler name ever, Ridge Holland. I'm Ridge Holland.
So I do have one more final piece of breaking news, Sir Ian Dangerous. Beep, beep,
what?
beep, beep,
What?
beep.
What?
Hot
Okay.
off the presses.
Bring it.
Thank you to Will James, Butters, McGator Guy, and others in the chat that just broke this news here live as we were recording.
This is why we have a chat. Thank you,
This is why we love you guys. R-Truth pinned a sleeping Jinder Mahal on the plane and is now your 5-time 24/7 champion.
Oh my God!
I love it. Yes, this is what we want. Keep dialing
Forget
it up,
what I said
please,
earlier about
WWE.
them. Forget what I said earlier about them not knowing about Jinder being Indian. Oh my goodness, that is hilarious. That's amazing.
Thank you guys very much for getting that in on the chat so we could get it in here on the show. And thank you, Sir Ian, for the other news. That's our show, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, come head over to the Busted Wide Open discussion group. We will be doing the watch party and live chat tomorrow for Super Showdown. Wouldn't be mad at you if you don't really care either, but we'll report it for you so you don't have to sit through it. You can also hit us up on Twitter at BWO Podcast, as well as Instagram. YouTube, if you're watching, thank you very much. Make sure you're subscribed and notified. But if not, head to youtube.com/C/BustedWideOpen. Hit that little subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when we go live every week, every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern, on time every week. I promise you I found the audio issues. We will fix that next week. Also, if you love this show and want to support us, as we've mentioned many times, it really does keep us ad-free and keep the show going as the way we like to. Had that conversation on Twitter this week. Head over to Patreon. Patreon.com/BWO. Sign up for one of those awesome reward tiers so that you can help us keep this show the way that it is and keep us running with all of this crazy technology that Nick has so that we can be live on YouTube once again. But I'm Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at Data Center Dude.
Don Julio, call me. I want some sponsorship. O'Reilly. And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
But by God!
Would somebody stop the damn match?